Hi there. Welcome back to the show. Fred Willard is perhaps best remembered as Jerry Hubbard, the man who played Martin Mull's announcer on Fernwood Tonight and also on America Tonight. He has also been in films such as The First Family, How to Beat the High Cost of Living, and Americathon. He is currently one of the hosts of NBC's Real People. Please welcome Fred Willard.
Am I crazy or am I in New York? This is terrific.
That's quite a shirt you have there.
Oh, this,
That's purple.
Yeah, just threw it on at the last minute, almost forgot I was on the show, you know how it is. Hey, you're on, oh my gosh, I'm doing a TV show, grab a shirt, you don't think.
Yeah. I bet you I don't have one single piece of clothing that's purple.
Well, hey, this is yours. If it goes well, I want very much to come across well in this.
Yeah, no, you're doing quite nicely.
And the shoes, too, can be good.
Okay. What color shoes you have? Well,
they're kind of an off purple.
Those are oxblood, kind of cordovan. Yeah, those are nice. Yeah. Let me ask you about Jerry Hubbard. We mentioned him in the introduction. Now, was that of course, was kind of the absent-minded announcer, sidekick to Martin Mull. Is that anybody you know, or was that a lot of you, or...?
It was, for some reason, they said I was perfect for the part. They needed someone who was a complete fool. I mean, why they thought I could fill that bill. But you see, I don't know, where it came from people in my family. I hate to say this because I love them all, but they would say things a little off. My grandmother once went to buy coffee for a drip grind and says, I need some coffee for a drip, and things like this. And, But those things come natural. Like I almost said when I came out and sat down, I was going to say, where else but America could you be? In Los Angeles one day and New York City the next. These things, I think I kind of shut off. You have a little trap that says, wait, I shouldn't say this, I'll sound foolish. And when I did that show, I just left the door open and my natural thoughts came out.
It was terrific. Excuse me, I haven't hung up there on my thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of... I have hang-ups too, but... do I have time for just a little story about New York? Because New York gets a bum rap. I was here last year. Someone stole my billfold, and you know how you feel. It's not the money, but I had a picture of my wife and my child and a topless dancer in it. And you don't, you can duplicate pictures of your family, but the dancer, I didn't know her name or anything. Yeah. And I thought I'd never see it, because what they do, they throw it in a garbage can and they're gone in most cities. I was home in 2 weeks. My billfold came in the mail. Some guy, whoever had stolen it, had taken the trouble to go over and put it in a mailbox and make sure it got back to me. The money was gone, of course. But I just thought, what a nice guy to go. He didn't have to do that. He went out of his way to make sure I got the billfold.
That's great.
And I think the people who knock New York and New Yorkers should think about those stories.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get on a soapbox.
It really warms your heart. Yeah. Sandra Karen, tell us about this woman. You've worked with her before?
Sandra, I met in Second City in Chicago, and it's very unusual to meet a lady who can improvise and who do sketches and act, and we don't usually work together as a team. But we get back together every once in a while and do a few things.
We're going to introduce her right now.
Let's get her out.
The woman we've been talking about. No, she's not here yet, Fred. Here now
I grabbed the shirt.
Sandra Karen. I think the first time I ever saw you and Fred work together was in Los Angeles, but you actually have an extensive film career in
England.
Yeah,
yes,
movies: Carry On Camping, Carry On Nurse,
Carry On Doctor, just a lot of carry-ons.
Yeah, yes. And then how did you and Fred begin working together?
Well, we worked in Second City, as Fred said, a few moons ago. And
we learned to improvise there, which most people are afraid of and don't know what improvisation. Let's do a little improvisation for David here in the audience.
No, I'd rather not. I would like to tell David about my Shakespeare.
But I think people who don't know improvisation might.
Excuse me. Anyway, I played
Wait a second. Don't be obstinate. It's a second. It'll be 2 seconds. What's the difference?
I played Lady Macbeth.
What the heck is the difference if we do an improvisation or not?
Excuse me, please.
See, that's how it goes.
That's an improv. Yeah. So it's just the
same.
It
was her idea, but I didn't think it would work.
No, it was your idea.
I didn't.
It was very nice.
To get back to me.
Yeah. Now, and then you came to America. Now, we're going to do something now, or we're going to do something later. Right now, we're going to do something.
Now
That'll be now, because you only got a few minutes on the show. We hate to be on that, sermonette in the background doing our sketch.
Yeah. Okay. So now, do you need to go anywhere? Are you going to do it right here? You need to go
Let
somewhere.
me introduce it.
Okay.
To set it up, a lot of people who don't have the right social guidance end up, when they grow up with sexual frustrations, they're awkward with members of the other sex, they become almost obnoxious, much like I am. No, what I mean is in this little sketch we're going to do, which takes place in a convention town someplace. It's a cocktail lounge. About 10 o'clock at night it becomes a singles bar, but right now it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Tony, I'll be ordering in a second, okay? You mind if I sit down here? This place is really packed.
The whole place is empty.
Now it's empty, yeah, but about 11 o'clock at night it takes a crowbar to get in here. Can I buy you a drink? Tony, a drink for the lady here. I'm treating.
No,
I don't take no for an answer, do I, Tony?
It'll make me nauseous.
Oh, come on. Hey, no
Really,
strings
no.
attached,
No,
I promise.
really.
Just a drink, come on. Name your poison. What is it?
All right, a golden dream.
Golden Dream. Where do you women come up with these concoctions, huh? Golden Dream for the little lady, and I'll have a pink squirrel, please. And let me have one with a little paper umbrella in it. Yeah, I broke the one from last night. I'd like to have a souvenir, huh? So, does cigarette smoke bother you?
Yes. It'll make me nauseous, please.
That must be very annoying. Try to blow it over that way. So what brings you in here?
I just came from my ballet class.
It's a great exercise. Yeah, you live here in town?
Yes.
I'm an out-of-towner myself. I'm in here on a convention. Came in with the fertilizer people. Almost didn't get away. Things were piling up back home. I'd had it up to here, you know, and I told my boss, I said, I need some free time. I raised quite a stink, and he let me go. I'm glad I did, because it's a beautiful city you got here, you know. Beautiful state, too. It's my first time here. In fact, it's a beautiful country we live in, isn't it? What do you think about the way the country is going lately? What do you think about the way Ronald Reagan is handling our internal affairs? Or let me ask you this. What do you think about the way Reagan is handling this whole El Salvador situation, huh? Or let me ask you, what do you think about the way he's handling the Mideast situation, huh? Let me ask you this. What do you think? What do you think about anything? Look, I kind of enjoy talking politics with you. You know, most women are airheads. I can't get 2 consecutive sentences out of them. What do you say we go upstairs to my room?
What?
My hotel room. It's right upstairs.
What for?
Well, to talk politics, you know, and maybe have a few drinks, and we'll put on the record player and dance. You're a dancer, aren't you? You like to dance?
Look, my feet are swollen, I have lower back pains, and I have morning sickness. Does that tell you anything?
Could be the flu. I don't know. You should not be in a bar like this. You should be someplace quiet, your feet elevated higher than your head.
That, yes.
Oh, a damp rag over your eyes.
Yes, I would like that.
How about my hotel room right upstairs? Come on, huh?
You're a filthy pig. You know that? You make me sick.
What do you think makes you sick? The cigarette, the drink, me? I bet you got a little stomach flu here, you know?
You're an animal. You know that? You're a lowly animal. Your kind should be locked up. You know that?
Can I tell you something? That's a first impression, and first impressions aren't always true. Why don't you get to know me? Let me show you what kind of a guy I am.
This man is bothering
All the
me,
more
please.
reason these idiots are coming in and out. This
Look.
cigarette smoke is not doing you any good. And come on up to my room. You'll be in and out in an
No.
hour. An hour.
No.
What if I give you a couple of bucks?
No.
$10 for your aggravation, just for your time. $20. That's for a half hour.
$20 for half an hour?
$30. That's $1 a minute.
No. Look. You see this ring? Look.
That's a wedding ring.
Yes,
You
I'm a
married
married
lady?
woman,
Hey,
yes.
I don't sit here and talk with married women, huh?
Oh,
And it's not
good.
good for your... I'm going to split, huh?
Good.
Okay.
That's great.
Give me about 3 or 4 minutes and follow me out to the elevator. We'll go up to the 5th floor.
Look, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have a baby any minute.
Hey.
Oh, the contractions have started.
Hey, you ought to get to a
What's happening?
hospital.
I'm gonna get to
I
the
got a
hospital.
car out front. I'll give you a
Quickly.
drive, yeah?
Yes.
Relax, you got plenty of time.
No, I haven't.
Maybe we can
It's
stop
started.
along the way and have a bite to eat.
No, I don't want to. You're crazy. You're a pig. You're an animal.
Fred Willard and Sandra Karen. Leonard. Of course, our thanks to Owen Thomas. Fred Willard and Sandra Karen, delightful, very funny. Thank you, folks, for being here. Now, originally we had scheduled George Miller to be with us. He will not be here tonight. Check your local listings. He'll be back in the future. Tomorrow night, Charles Grodin, performer Chaz Chase. This guy eats stuff. Small town news and stupid pet tricks. Good night, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paul. Welcome to the show. We have a keen program for you here. Let me remind you once again, Gallagher, Fred Willard, and the gentleman who has written Blue Highways, a fascinating best-selling book, William Least Heatmoon, will be joining us. Now, tonight we are pleased to welcome affiliated station, that's the NBC-affiliated station in Houston, Texas, KPRC, to our late-night family. And to honor that city, we're proud now to give you our own multimedia salute to Houston, Texas. Relax, sit back, and enjoy it if you will, won't you? I know I will. Houston, Texas, our salute, our multimedia salute to, here it is. There it is, and maybe even some music would be nice to, there's the multi. Obviously, some kind of a mix-up on the salute to Houston, Texas, but we'll try and work the bugs out of that salute to Houston, Texas, and our friends down there at is it KPRC? KPRC in Houston a little bit later. Okay. Sometimes just maybe slow down, get your breath, get a hold of something. I don't suppose we could hear the car and truck rental song again, could we? All right, my first... Thank you, thank you. Okay. That's it, drive safely, good night. My first guest is currently not a co-host of NBC's Real People, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat that. Is currently not a co-host of NBC's Real People. Television audiences best remember him as Jerry... It's clockwork, isn't it? It's, people say, Dave, why do you knock yourself out in rehearsal? Well, it's because we get this kind of precision. That's why. My first guest is currently not a co-host of NBC's Real People. Television audiences best remember him as Jerry Hubbard on Fernwood Tonight. He's a very funny man. Let's now see if he's even still in the building. Mr. Fred Willard. Fred, it's nice to see you.
In the building.
Yeah, you know, let me just say before we continue, I've often long thought you were just a fine comedy performer, and I've enjoyed your work and admired your ability for a long, long time. Nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I was expecting a butt to follow that.
Oh, no.
You're a baseball fan.
I enjoy a little baseball, sure.
Yeah, it's cold here in New York, but you get the reports from Florida and Arizona about spring training, and I don't know if I'm the only guy like this. I still think about my batting stance. Do you ever say, hey, if I grip that ball or grip the bat, you know, choked up just a bit? I actually have a bat at home. Every once in a while, I'll grab a bat and stand in front of the mirror.
Yeah, that's
it's embarrassing if someone comes in and catches you at it. You know? You say, hey, I thought I heard a prowler outside or something.
Now,
but if you catch a prowler and you may take a whack at him, you might as well have a good grip. You know?
That's right.
He might be a ball fan too and say, hey, you played some ball, didn't you? Can I take some? Choke up that bat and hit, you know, from the back of your foot.
Now, which were you, right-handed or left-handed?
Well, right-handed, yeah. I never got into switch hitting. I couldn't even hit right-handed, let alone both hands.
Yeah. And did you ever face a guy who had a really good curveball?
Yeah, I faced him for a minute. I'd usually end up, you know, with my back to them there. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about.
No, I know what you're here to talk about. First of all, let's clear this up. You're not one of the hosts of Real People.
No, I will not. I'm on the shows that you're seeing now. I will not be returning in the fall, but I want you to continue to watch it, the audience, because it'll be just as good
Well, that's
without me.
That's a gentlemanly thing
Yes,
of you to
yes.
say.
It was a tough decision to make. I went into the producer, and I said, I will not be returning this season. And he said, all right. But the point is, I decided, two things. One thing, this project was very fortuitous that I came tonight because of this. I'll get to that in a second. But I've also started some personal appearances around the
doing a lot
country.
of benefits.
Yes, and the first one is not the most prestigious. It was at a home for the criminally insane.
Yeah.
But they're such a wonderful audience, and they are. And I always had the feeling that people who are insane could become sane very quickly if they really wanted to. I don't know. Am I wrong? Are there any people who are criminally insane in the audience? Yeah. Am I right? I mean, if you really pull yourself together. And they live in kind of their own world. You know, you meet them, and it's, are you my friend? And I said, yes. And I'd say, how's everything? Everything's fine, really, really fine. And one person was walking around, and they were in a place they were not supposed to be, and the nurse said, you're not supposed to be there. And she said, leave me alone. And I thought how nice it would be in life if rather than go around apologizing and say, oh, you're right, I'll move, just say, leave me alone. It's really a nice thing. Anyway, what was a wonderful little touch, they put on their own show for the performers who came there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a singer there. He did Autumn Leaves in a way I'd never seen before. Those autumn leaves drift by my window. And another interesting thing, a comic got up. He was an inmate. And you know, comics every place have the same point of view. It's things that bug them. And his is the same thing. He did things, annoyances in the dining room, annoyances with the orderlies. But then he said something was a little different. He says, don't you hate it when you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear those voices in your head saying, kill? And it gave kind of an effect, but it was a tough act to follow.
Oh, yeah, well...
Then I had to get up, and they weren't heckling, but you'd build to a point, all of a sudden you'd hear, are you still my friend? And I was, yeah, and but it was wonderful. It was so nice to hear that laughter, even though it was... And the MC said, we want to thank these people for giving their valuable time. Little did they know many of us hadn't worked for 2 or 3 years. And at the end, someone came up and said, you were terrible. And I felt so bad. The doctor says, ignore him. He just goes around repeating what everyone else says. It was terrific. You know, now the thing...
Wait, hold it, Fred. Hold it. Let's let the audience cool down a minute.
I guess so.
And we'll do a commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that other project.
Okay, there may be a promo from your people in Texas, too. They were just coming in with some reels.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps we have other surprises. Fred Willard and I will be right back. Thank you, Paul, and welcome back to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Willard is here, and this is sort of a theme. We had the bookmobile of a gentleman who wrote a best-selling book, and you have...
It's almost frightening, but I'll tell you how this came about. The first day I arrived in New York, a friend of mine took this picture of me. He said, Fred, he said, this is a day, your first day in New York, it's a day you should remember. And
when was that taken?
This was in the late 60s. And it's the same shot. James Dean walked down that same street. There's this very similar shot. But he said, you know, you're going to be an actor. And actors are so self-centered. It's all me, me, me. That's all they think about. It's a narcissistic life. He says, you have a hobby. You're going to meet interesting people. You're going to go interesting places. Use this camera to record these events. Yes.
Excellent idea.
And shortly after that, I met Charlie Chaplin, the great classic Charlie Chaplin. I was in a street corner with him. And I found that he and I were the only ones there, and I said, Mr. Chaplin, I have a camera. I know you've heard this a million times. Would you do me a favor? Would you take my picture?
Yeah.
And he snapped that picture of me, and that's it. His hand was...
we didn't see it, Fred. Hold it.
There it is. It's a nice shot.
Yeah.
And since that time, I'm so glad I did this because I've met so many celebrities who have had a chance to snap my picture. There's me on my wedding day, and here's a picture of me the day my first child was born, an unforgettable day. But I've met Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis took my picture. Oh, so many people here. Let's see, the Smothers Brothers each took a picture and then argued over which picture I liked the best, you know? Here's a picture of me in a hotel room with one of the Doobie Brothers. I forget which one. Here's one of my favorites, one that Billy Barty took. You know, he's one of the little... He's such a clown, you know, and he wanted to come back and get on a stepladder and take another one from the waist up.
And you were in a hotel room with one of the Doobie Brothers?
I forget, I think it was Steve or something. I don't know which one. But anyway.
Steve Doobie.
Yeah. Now this one, I don't know if this is a little too off color. I was in a hotel room. I had to meet Farrah Fawcett because I was supposed to do something, film with her. And she was in the bathtub taking a bubble bath, and her manager excused himself to go down to get cigarettes. And she was in the tub, and she said, I'm going to get out. She put a towel around her. And she said, I noticed you have a camera. I suppose you want a photograph. And I said, yes. And I had her snap this picture of me in the hotel room.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a little too spicy. And then the towel fell off her, and it was sitting there at her feet. And I said, what do I do? I did the only thing a guy could do. I picked it up and snapped her with it.
Yeah.
Now, the important thing... I made myself reflex there. That's funny. I guess I'm healthy anyway.
Yeah.
The important thing is the fun. This book is a work in progress.
And priceless.
Yes, it's my life.
Yeah.
No, there will be a price on it.
Oh.
But this is the point. The audience, the money is going directly to me. It is not going to some cheap charity where you're going to read the next day that the executives flew down to the Bahamas with the cash.
Yeah.
This is where the audience comes in. This studio audience, as you file out, there are index cards you receive. The audience watching at home, you'll be receiving these little 3x5 cards in the mail within 30 days. I want you to fill out the card. Maybe there are celebrities you'd like me to meet and have take my picture. Maybe a Charlton Heston, maybe a Victoria Principal, Bruce Boxleitner, or something.
The bigger the better, probably.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I want you to tell me what I should do with the money. I want them to tell me maybe I should donate part of it to a favorite charity of theirs.
Yeah.
Maybe I should use it to finance a motion picture that would star myself, the funds from which would be plowed right back into the general fund.
Great.
None of it to me. Or maybe they would like me just to buy a nice home for myself in the hills in Hollywood, because we're all in this together, and if I'm comfortable, we're all comfortable.
That's right.
And the people, if they come to California, they look at it as a second home. They could come in and just say hi.
Really? People could actually come and use it as like a
drop by if I'm there with notice, 30 to 60-day notice, and drop by and take my picture if they like. But
That's a great idea, Fred.
yeah, I kind of like it. I don't know. It's Doobie Brothers.
That's an interesting story. Maybe you could come back another time and tell us how you ended up.
There'll be more pictures, I hope. Yeah. I'm going to try to get Bruce Keeson now. The baseball season starts. Some of the ball players to take my picture.
Well, good luck to you on that,
Okay.
Fred. Thank you very much for being here again.
You didn't know. I didn't. You never took my picture, but the night of your first anniversary show, I had a friend snap my picture in front of the TV set. I'm going to send it to you.
It's very thoughtful of you.
That's something you'll want in your memory.
I will want that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Fred. Nice to see you again.
Thank you for letting me come on.
The multi-talented Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with Gallagher. My next guest is quite an amusing gentleman. He can be seen this month on the Second City 25th Anniversary Special on HBO. Please say hello to Fred Willard.
Thank you. Getting individual waves from the audience. It's wonderful. You know, thanks for having me here. It's such a wonderful.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. But it's such a nice time. No, I say that sincerely. It's a wonderful time of the year to be here in New York.
Beautiful.
Spring in the air. I'm usually here in the winter when people are rushing around and grumpy. But there seems to be like love and romance in the air. Last night someone stole my billfold and they dropped it by the hotel today. They took the money out, but they put on one of those little happy face stickers.
Yeah.
Does it have a nice day? You know, and I think it's a good feeling. It's all coming together.
Oh, my gosh.
But thank you for having me here.
Let me ask you about your HBO show.
The Second City Anniversary, yeah, that's playing this month, and that was fun. The most fun was going back and seeing all the, well, it's like a college reunion, the alumni. Ed Asner, Alan Arkin, all the way through the people on SCTV now and the current crew. Except the last time I was back at a college reunion, it's, you know, you're glad to see the guys you were on at Second City with. At your college, it's, hello, Fred, still in that show business deal? And no matter, you can be on the 6 o'clock news, and they say, we don't stay up that late, we missed you. So here it's, hi, how are you, what are you doing? Oh, yeah, Shakespeare in the Park, right?
Yeah. And how's the show with Martin Mull?
Oh, that's an unusual one. The history of white people in America. That's going to be, and it's time for that show, because a lot of us are misunderstood. They don't understand our cultural, you know, the barbecues in the backyard and the bowling leagues. And a lot of people in New York will not get on a subway car with a white man riding alone now. It's so, but it's good. Martin Mull, it came from Martin Mull's mind, of course. What else? And I'm no friend with Martin. I worked with him. I did have to go in an audition, read 3 times, and leave a picture. But I play the Mr. Harrison. It's the Harrison family, and Mary Kay Place is my wife. And it should be interesting. I haven't seen the finished product.
Yeah, it sounds funny.
Yes.
You know, I thought you were terrific in. I can't think of the name. Oh, this is Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, that was very funny.
That was a terrific movie.
Are you doing any club work these days? I know you used to be very active.
I was, yes, but now I'm in a play in Los Angeles called Isn't It Romantic? And it's the first play I've done in a long time, and I did not know if I wanted to get into a play, you know, the discipline every night, and it's live. But then I found out that I spend most of one scene in bed with a naked girl, and I said, hey, I'm a professional, I might as well take a chance. It's the tradition of the theater, Laurence Olivier and all, you know, Larry would have done it. And
now, is the play in production now?
Yes, I should have told them I wasn't going to be there tonight, shouldn't I? They're great, though. They'll work right around me. They'll never even miss me.
But do you ever want to go back and work clubs? Just do stand-up?
Sure, I would like to. Yeah. It's tough, though. You've done that. And it's tough.
It's very difficult.
It's like jogging. It's good for you. You know, you hate it when you're doing it, but it's good for you. I've worked... In fact, Paul was kind enough to play my theme music One Night With You. I came out, I did an Elvis Presley impersonation. Who was the first person to sing One Night With You? I wonder if Paul knows. Who did One Night?
I thought it was Elvis.
Elvis, everyone says, but who did it originally?
I don't know. Who did?
Who? Smiley Lewis. Smiley Lewis.
Eric Clapton gets that one.
Imagine somewhere in America someone saying, Smiley, they're talking about you. What? I wrote that song? I thought it sounded familiar.
Okay, well, we're going to do a commercial here, and I understand
I'm excited.
we're going to see a little of your...
I'm starting, something I'm glad to debut on your show here. Yes.
All right, we'll look forward to that. We have to take a break here. We'll be right back with Fred Willard. Welcome back to the show, and now I guess what we're going to see is the premiere, the debut of your new nightclub act.
My act, because I've always tried to find a partner to work with. And it's difficult because they end up calling me things like amateur and talent, no hack, no talent. A lot of which is not true.
No.
And, but I think I've found someone who I can get along with, and this is the debut of it. Let me see if he's on here.
All right.
There he is. Let me see. Let's see. All right, you okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
But is it all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
Is it all right?
It's all right, it's all right.
You don't like being cooped up in there, do you?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay. Well,
Give no respect.
Give no respect at all. So you mean you got a complaint?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you then. Where's the beef, huh?
No, really, I don't like that.
I know why you're so cranky.
Why?
Because I won't let you play on my baseball team.
What baseball team?
The team with the players with the funny names.
Oh, yeah, the players with all the funny names.
You know the name of the first baseman?
Hey.
No, who? You know the second baseman?
Hey.
No, why? You know the third baseman?
Hey.
No, what?
Hey.
What?
Hey.
What? 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 What's the matter?
It's just not funny. It's all old hat. It's other people's material. Let's do something new, something with social significance.
People don't want that. They just want to hear jokes.
Okay, go ahead and tell a joke.
Okay, I will.
Well, go ahead and tell it.
I'm going to.
What's the matter? You forget your line?
No, I didn't forget my lines. You're making me nervous.
All right, I'll tell you what. You want jokes? I'll tell you a joke.
No, I don't like your jokes.
What do you mean?
Your jokes are all off color.
That's not true. Give me a chance. I'll tell a nice joke. It's about a couple on their 25th wedding anniversary. They go to New York City to celebrate. The wife goes out shopping. The husband goes up to a prostitute. Stop it. He offers her $15 to come with him back to his hotel room. She says, no, the least I want is $100. He says, that's too much. He leaves. He goes up to his wife. They meet. They come back to the hotel. There in the lobby is the prostitute. She takes one look at the husband with his wife, starts to laugh and says, aha, you see what you get for $15? What's the matter?
It's not funny.
It's a very funny joke.
All your jokes are about the same thing. Prostitutes.
That's not true.
Brothels.
All right, let me try another one. You know where this one takes place?
I hate to know.
In a church.
Okay.
And guess who's sitting in the very back row?
A prostitute.
A little old lady.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
She turns to the prostitute sitting next to her.
No. I'm gonna turn you. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is the first time we went through it, and it's just not working.
Well, I think it has some promise.
Yeah. Well, should I continue?
Yeah, let's see.
I'm gonna get. Maybe I can salvage something out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it when you do that.
Yeah, well, you're twisted out of shape.
What were we supposed to do? You went sky high.
Well, I was trying to...
Let me try one more joke.
Okay, is this a nice joke?
This is a nice joke.
All right.
It takes place in a house in New Jersey.
What kind of house?
Just an ordinary house.
All right.
The doorbell rings. The madam comes down.
No madams.
All right, it's not a madam. It's just a housewife.
All right.
She comes out of the bedroom.
No, she doesn't.
All right, she doesn't come out of the bedroom. She comes out of the kitchen.
Kitchen is okay.
But she's completely naked.
No, she's not. No.
She's not naked. She's wearing a bikini.
No bikinis.
All right, she's fully dressed.
Okay.
But boy, you ought to see what she was doing on that kitchen table.
No, that doesn't. No.
All right. She answers the door, and there's a man on the front porch with no arms and no legs.
Wait, is this all right?
It's all right. He says, I want a woman.
Hey.
It's all right, it's all right. She says, my good man, you have no arms and no legs. What are you going to do with a woman? He says, I rang the bell, didn't I?
Oh, no, that doesn't. I heard it now. We heard it. I don't like that. I'm very sorry. I'm terribly sorry. No.
So
we'll work on that.
That's the act you'll be taking on the road.
Yeah.
Right.
We call ourselves the Sophisticates. We're opening in Las Vegas, sight unseen. We got to work on this, though, I'll tell you.
Well, I think it shows a lot of promise.
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah, I'd go see that act. I'd pay top dollar to see that act.
Okay. What about the dollars underneath?
Anything. You can see Mr. Willard on the 25th anniversary special of the Second City, and also coming up soon on the, again, what was the name?
History of White People in America.
Yeah.
And plan your vacations to come to L.A. to see me in Isn't It Romantic?
Yeah.
A nice little package
nice
deal
summer
there.
for the wife and kids.
People look
Fred,
forward.
nice to see you. Enjoy
Thank
your
you
stay
very
in New
much,
York.
David.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back, folks.
Jack is Stephen Carrington on Dynasty. Got it right that time. You've played opposite Joan Collins, Linda Evans, Diane Carroll, definitely women who rate a 10.
That's right, Morgan. And if there were a Richter scale for comedy, this next guest would certainly score an 11. Let's go to Dave.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me tell you who's going to be on the show tomorrow before we bring out Mr. 11 here. Tomorrow will be another great show. You know who's going to be here, Fred? Paul?
Who, Sam?
Cher.
Cher.
The
favorite.
multi-talented Cher will be here tomorrow. And,
I do Cher, as
yeah.
you know.
Have you worked with Cher before?
Yes.
Where was it?
Will and I worked with her. We recorded with her about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's nice. So
And I do an impersonation of her as well.
Singing "Oh Holy Night."
Yeah.
But we like to save that for the holidays.
Usually it's
Although I think we may have a little time tonight. With Cher, have any idea who's going to be with Cher tomorrow? Who would you book to be on the show with superstar Cher?
Sonny.
No.
No, I don't know.
We have the next best thing, bail bondsman Joey Barnum.
Oh, well, that's who I would get if I couldn't get
Sonny, then Joey Barnum. Yeah, that would have been like your second guess, I'm guessing. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that'll be Cher tomorrow. Let me pause here a second to give you a chance to write this down. Tomorrow night on the show, Cher.
And of course...
And Joey Barnum. B-A-R-N, there you get your barn. U-M, there you have your Joey Barnum.
What does he do?
He'll be on the... He's a bail bondsman.
I see.
So I hope you jotted down that important programming information for tomorrow night.
Who's on tonight?
We're just about done, Paul. I know we got another guest. My next guest is a very funny man and a nominee for a Daytime Emmy Award this year. Please welcome back to this program, Fred Willard. Fred, come on out and... Hi, Fred. How are you? Good to see you. How are you? Fine. Welcome to the proceedings. Glad to see you. Thank you. How you been? You look good.
Oh, thank you.
You look prosperous. That's a very handsome suit.
That's why I wore it, so I would look prosperous, you know. But I didn't have time to change into my jeans and leather jacket for a laid-back look. But I thought David always dresses for the show, and
that's very thoughtful.
Respect for the show.
Congratulations on your Emmy nomination. Now, what was this for exactly?
For a show called What's Hot, What's Not. It ran for 6 months, and the amazing thing about it is more people have heard about me getting the nomination than actually watched the darn show in the first place. Well, it was on at 11 in the morning or 12 o'clock in the morning. And
what kind of show was it?
Well, it was a magazine-type show. What are the hot new styles? What are the hot new foods around the country?
Yeah.
What was hot 10 years ago on this date? And it was fun to do, but up against those game shows and
tough competition.
Oh yeah, tough. And for the Daytime Emmy, the competition is Phil Donahue,
right,
and Gary Collins of Our magazine.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be tough because their subjects were AIDS, is it killing us all? And we were talking about what's the latest belt style that people are wearing. And there's also a Dr. Norman Kaplan, who I don't know either. He's up
Not
for
familiar
it.
with
No,
him.
I think he's a dark horse. He had a health show. I suspect he sounds like someone who isolated a cancer virus in between cooking segments or something. And,
yeah.
But just to make things even between now and the nomination or the awards, I'm changing my name to Dr. Fred Willard.
Well, good idea. Now,
You can do that legally if you put quotes around it, make it a nickname.
It'll be your nickname.
Just a nickname, and then I drop it. Yeah.
Dr. Fred Willard.
You have never won a. You have won probably an Emmy for late
I've won
night?
just about everything.
That's wonderful. I would not be in competition with you because this was a daytime.
Yeah, daytime show.
Yes, I wouldn't want a Joan Rivers type of riff.
No, we wouldn't want heat or friction in this business. No, it's too small an industry for that kind of thing.
Yes,
you want to make a lot of friends. Keep them.
Exactly.
For as long as you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I better remember that and start doing it. Yes.
Now, are you going to be working some more with our friend Martin Mull?
Martin Mull, yes, on the history of white people in America is the show.
Very funny show on cable operation, wasn't
yes.
it? Yeah.
A year ago he called me, he said, we need someone to play the father of this Midwestern family who is a real jerk, and you'd be perfect for the part. So I was flattered. I said, yes, well, I'm from the Midwest, and I'm an actor. I can play the rest of it. So we did the history of the white people in America, and this year it's going to be a look at, like, white people and crime, white people in the law, white people in religion. In that one, my 15-year-old daughter gets involved in what we call around the dinner table SEX.
Yeah.
And it turns out that she's more active than MOM and DAD. And we turn to the local minister for solace. I don't know how it comes out, either very, very happy or funny, one way or the other.
Now, speaking of happy, you must be pretty happy. Things are going your way
Well,
now.
I kind
Got
of.
an award coming up, possibly?
Well, I don't know how much I want that award. It's a daytime. I would love it. If a genie came along and offered me 3 wishes, that probably wouldn't be one of them. It might be down.
You wouldn't wish for a daytime?
Not
Emmy?
my first 3. When you were a kid, did you used to play that game, like if you got 3 wishes, what you would wish for?
Yeah, I think
we always
probably
had
did. Yeah.
$1 million and to live forever and 100 more wishes.
Yeah.
I don't know if legally you can do that with a genie. I don't think.
Not in some communities.
Drives me crazy with the shows where they always have that and people are unprepared.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 wishes. Oh, I wish I had a pencil. Oh, there's one. I wish I hadn't said, oh, there's 2. And people with real problems are sitting there saying, oh, I wish I could get my hands on that. Oh, there's a wish. But I don't know. When I was a kid, I had a BB gun. I used to play with my friends with a BB gun. And my mother said, you're not going to be happy till you put out somebody's eye with that gun. In all fairness to myself, I never put out anybody's eye with a gun. But in all fairness to my mother, I've never been really happy.
Yeah, so maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe she was. Maybe she had something there. Yeah.
And people, you must be happy doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm wildly ecstatic.
Yes, yes. But you know, it's very important to people to be happy.
Oh sure, happiness is the only point of being alive, isn't it?
Yes, and people aren't happy unless they're completely happy. That sounds strange, but I have never been completely happy. A friend of mine, a friend who I grew up with, we played BB guns.
What was his name?
Jerry McLean. Gee, it popped into my head. He became a lawyer in Cleveland, Ohio, and very successful. Last year, he dropped out of his practice, went to India to climb the Himalayas to meet with some guru.
Right.
I said, what are you thinking about? He says, I've got to find complete, true happiness. He met with this 102-year-old toothless man with long hair. This is when will I be completely happy, he wanted to know. And this is a man who'd earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in a respected profession. I don't know. And ironically, you know what the guru told him? You're not going to be completely happy till you put out somebody's eye with a BB gun. He couldn't listen to my mother to begin with. But David, I'll tell you, I feel self-conscious talking about a daytime Emmy.
I know you have something else you want to mention because I know you're involved now writing another project.
Fingers in a lot of pies.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Fred. We'll do a commercial, and then when we come back, you can tell us more about it.
That's why you were king of the late night. Yes.
That's.
Get down to business. In addition,
that's why I was what?
The king of the late night.
Oh, I thought you said that's why you were canned from late night. I thought maybe you'd heard something upstairs.
No.
Okay, we'll pause, and then we'll be back here with Fred Willard.
You know, a big show like this takes a lot of people working behind the scenes. I'm here with a woman who helps make the stars look great. Makeup artist Candy Carell. Candy, how many tissues do you use in a show?
About half a box.
Wow, that's a lot. And speaking of a lot, here's something a lot of people like to drink. Miller Lite.
Okay, Fred Willard is here, and Cher will be here tomorrow. You know Cher Bono, or Cher.
I've been on a show with her. I don't really know.
I guess it's not her last name anymore. It used to be Bono, then it was Allman, and then it was something else. Didn't
Kennedy?
She?
Was there a Kennedy in there?
No, I don't think there was. I don't think she was part of the Kennedy family.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe she was.
I may have been married to her at one time. I'm not sure.
Anyway,
I wanted to say something.
You have a little. You're working on something.
Well, you see, I feel embarrassed talking about awards and all. I'm almost sorry that I pleaded with you to mention it in the first.
No, you should be happy about it. It's, I mean,
but I'm not the kind of actor who comes on and says, "Hey, watch my big film next month," or "Watch my NBC series." Mainly because I don't have those things going for me right now. But I'm so tired of that me thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have written a screenplay for you, David. It's called
Screenplay for me.
The David Letterman Story.
Well,
I took the liberty of sketching out the screenplay. Picture the opening scene, Times Square, a young actor from the Midwest walking down Broadway. Picture that shot of James Dean in the early 50s. He's troubled. He moves into close-up. You see, he's sensitive, super intelligent. This is not you. This is a, no, it's just an establishing shot because the whole movie is about your effect on everything you touch. I don't know, who cares who we use as that actor. I'll play the part, just for argument. We flash back to his last occupation, a fighter pilot for the U.S. Navy. He's going through that training. He has a tough-as-nails sergeant. I picture a George Scott in the role. Trying to break him. He won't be broken. He does the sit-ups. He does the push-ups in the rain. Then he gets his wings, and we show him in the big air attack on, I thought, Libya, updated, you know, or whoever a country we're mad at the time. And then he comes back to the States. So here he is in Times Square. He doesn't know what to do, and he passes the Broadway theater, sees a sign, actor wanted, Broadway show. He goes and applies for a job in the chorus. I see Roy Scheider as the choreographer. You're not in it yet.
I'm not in it. Because I wasn't a fighter pilot.
No, but the beautiful thing is everyone's saying, when does David appear? Yeah. You're on their mind.
Right.
So he's smart enough. He's in the chorus. He's keeping his eye on the lead because he learns all his steps and all his songs. And sure enough, opening night, the lead can't be there. Maybe he's on your show. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. So our young guy fills in. You're coming now. Wait.
Okay.
Don't miss your part. It's going to be there. He fills in, and we see the production number, the gaudy, flashy thing, and he walks out of that theater. You know he's going to be a star, but he's still not happy. So he ends up down in Times Square. He has so little self-esteem. He picks up a prostitute, a bag lady in Times Square. I picture Daryl Hannah in the part. Maybe a Christy Brinkley. I'll leave this to you for casting, because this is your film.
All right, thank you very much.
He gets her back up to his hotel room just before they have cheap, tawdry sex. just after they have cheap, tawdry sex. And I want to film that whole scene graphically.
Oh, really?
Even if it's not a final cut. Just to show how low the morals of our film industry
It's
is.
important.
I'm not one to get on a soapbox, but a phone call comes, and it's from your producer, David.
Yeah.
He was at opening night. He invites this young guy on the show. We can recreate the set here out in L.A. That's where I live. No sense me flying back and forth. But again, it's up to you. It's up to you, because this is the David Letterman story. I thought he'd get up, you'd coax him to sing a song, something like a Lionel Richie might write, or a Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Or Paul, you might do it. Are you on board with us?
Yeah, we could come up with something.
Okay,
for
can you
that,
do it?
Sure, of
Okay.
course he can. Yeah, he's very talented.
And afterwards, the audience loves him. You can tell he's a star.
Yeah.
And this is where you come in.
But he's on my show.
Your show, and this is...
Yeah.
The camera zooms into you
Yeah.
and shows your self-satisfaction. You've made that audience happy. You've made this young man happy.
Yeah.
And you've made yourself happy, and that is the key word here.
That's right.
Now, I've come to you for a couple of reasons. One, I want your input on this
Sure.
script.
Well, I'm in, yeah.
I want your input. I want your input on casting. And thirdly, I need financing for this.
Well, sure. How much money are we talking about?
I see
here?
15 to 20 million. I don't.
Well, I don't know. That may be a little steep for me, but we.
I'll tell you what. I see a fundraising thing.
All right.
A jogathon across this country of ours.
Great, great.
You and I jogging shoulder to shoulder from sea to shining sea, over mountains, over prairies, through amber waves of grain. Paul, help me out here. Did you give me some? Oh, somebody help me out here. Hold it. David Letterman's story, part 2. I challenge Rocky for the heavyweight championship of the world and beat him thanks to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get Sylvester Stallone to do a cameo of his brother writes the music. Paul, you may be out.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But,
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen, daytime Emmy nominee. Sounds good to me, Fred.
can we get something in writing now? Just
You're right.
signature on something.
I'll sign anything.
Oh, comedians like Fred Willard have to work often to keep from getting rusty.
That's right, Morgan. And speaking of rust, a word from the good people of Armor All.
Well, it's been another magic night here in Manhattan. Let me thank everybody who helped make it happen tonight. David Bender, of course, and his Talking Birds all the way from San Diego. And Fred, nice to see you again. Very funny, and good luck with that award.
Thank you very much.
And come back anytime, sir. Also, my thanks to Jack Coleman and Morgan Brittany, Bill Wendell, Paul Schaefer, and the band. Tomorrow, kids, like you need to be reminded about this, bail bondsman Joey Barnum will be here. So save up all those bail bondsman questions, and we'll have an open phone line for you. And also, of course, Cher will be joining us. That's tomorrow. Thank you once again for making tonight such a special evening. Have a good night, and thanks again. Bye-bye.
Well, no. I mean, I've known him for a long time, but he took cheap shots at
Yeah,
me. And I
that's
just think,
true.
Well, that about wraps it up, Morgan. What was your favorite part of the evening?
Oh, gosh, Jack, there was so much. Talking birds, dumb ads.
Yeah, they were all great, but I know that my favorite part was working with my talented co-host, Morgan Brittany.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. You know, we've seen some things that made us laugh and some things that, well, made us think a little.
Yeah, you're right about that. And now I think it's time to say good night. Good night, everybody.
And welcome back to All Request TV. Our next guest is a he's very funny. He is now working with Steve Martin on his new movie called Roxanne, and will soon be seen on Cinemax in Martin Mull's second edition of The History of White People in America. Please welcome Fred Willard. Good to have you here. I know you're doing a film, you have your cable specials, you're working with big names.
Oh, my God. First of all,
very busy.
Ostaro was something. We were just backstage, he and I and James Taylor, we communicated with Elvis. He did. No, Elvis said... This is the truth. He said if he were alive today, he would love to be on your show.
Oh, well, that's, gosh, we'll tell Ostaro that we're pleased to hear that from Elvis.
And well, we were just about to communicate with Larry Williams, you know, Boney Maroney, but I had to come out here. So I don't know. I think he's on hold or something. But,
well, I'm glad you could tear yourself away.
Yeah, I didn't know. Should I go on or should we talk to Larry? He was one of the greats. But, let me say something. Let's not
you're
talk
really busy. You're really busy.
You just hosted...
No, please, don't.
Did he do a wonderful job? I didn't watch the show myself, but I understand you're putting that word out, and no, seriously, I know you won an award.
So you're really busy, aren't you, Fred? You're really busy.
All right, now wait a second. I hate to be one of these actors that comes on and talks about what he's doing, my next film, because it's demeaning, it cheapens the audience, it's insulting to you. So what I'd like to do is just take about a minute or two up front to tell everything I'm doing now and get that out of the way so we don't have to worry about it later. All right. History of white people in America, yes.
Right. Okay.
Now, some people laugh. That may be the last laugh I get tonight, the title of the thing I'm doing. But Martin Mull, and I think it's time they do something like that to show people about white folks, our background, our barbecues, our heritage, our bowling leagues, because there's a very interesting trend today in these latest movies. Remember, in the old movies, who they used to make fun of were the minorities. In the World War II, the Germans, the Japs, or the nerd, you know, with this. Now, the one who's the butt of all the jokes is the white Anglo-Saxon, the big Aryan guy, you know, the Olympic ski champion, the swimming champ, the quarterback of the football. He's the one that's the butt of the joke. What would Hitler say if he were alive today? I mean, he would, thank God he's not here. That man suffered so much in his lifetime. Oh, he's gone. Can't we forgive and forget him? No, anyway, and the other thing I'm doing, speaking of white people, I am working in a movie, Roxanne, with Steve Martin.
Sure, yeah.
Don't ask me who else is in it. I like to just say it's Steve and me doing it. And it's fun, except he's always coming up saying, Fred, give me a funny line here.
That's kind of embarrassing.
It's shooting in Vancouver. I probably should have told him I'm coming to New York, you know, but it takes so long to set up a shot. You know, where's Fred Willard? He went to New York to do the Letterman show. Okay, let's break for lunch. So it's okay. I'm here. I'll mention it. That's all.
Do you like being back in New York? Or
I love New York. I do. And there's so much excitement, so much electricity in the air. Isn't there? Yeah, you can applaud for your own city. I was talking to someone once about mass murders, and I said, well, New York had their Son of Sam, and everyone, yeah! You know, there's a lot to be proud of. But I was in Times Square, and a cab went through a red light and knocked a lady to the curb, yet he slowed down enough to say, sorry, have a nice day. And this, you remember in the old days when it'd be, watch out where you're going, but have a nice day. And everyone on the sidewalk applauded that electricity. It's a positive thing there, really. It's so nice. And
how was Elvis feeling, by the way?
Considering he's been dead for several years, fine. But he says, I can't get any drugs up here. Ostaro told me that, all right? I recently, now here's why I'm excited. I just had a birthday, and last week, thank you. And I went in.
How old a man are you, Fred?
Well, I knew you'd ask, but I don't want to sound like Gloria Swanson and say, oh, that's my business. The reason an actor doesn't want to say, because if I say, like, I'm 45, half the people are going to say, geez, he's that old? And the other half is going to say, 45, he looks horrible. I thought he was in his 50s. So let me just say this. The best years, yeah, have a nice day. He said, she was nice for you. And he came back and he pasted a little happy face on her thigh. And there's a doctor, is there a doctor in the audience? And he came over, he says, these things happen. She says, what kind of a doctor are you? He's a doctor of philosophy, you know.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's do a commercial, and we'll get another audience in here, and then.
Okay.
So now you had a birthday, and it's affecting how you look at things, or not?
You look at things differently. As a kid, I used to love horror films. Everyone did, you know, Frankenstein, the Wolfman. And I love that scene where the girl falls down. She's being chased, and she falls down. She says, "Leave me, leave me." And all the little boys in the audience are yelling, "Yes, leave her, leave her." And even the women today say, "Yes, leave her. She's embarrassing us. What's she doing wearing high heels and nylons in the jungle?" But today, the movies are more sophisticated. I keep thinking I've outgrown them. But today, when that girl trips and falls, the mummy isn't going to pick her up. You know, the mummy, I don't know why we were scared of that. They move so slow. You could have taunted those old creatures. Now, over here, grab them by the bandages and spin them into the ground. But today's movie, there'll be a guy with a chainsaw behind it and cut her, decapitate her, you know? Did you see The Fly?
No, I haven't seen
All right. David Cronenberg did that. He did a movie a few years back called Scanners, where a head exploded on film.
Yeah.
Now, there's a morbid curiosity. You don't often see heads explode. No. Now, you'll hear about it on Excedrin commercials. I had a headache that day. And another effect they have, that would sell Excedrin. Another effect, and people went and applauded, you know, like they were applauding a Rudolph Serkin concert. Oh, very nice effect. Another effect I love, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They'll cut a body right in half, and both ends will continue to live. Now, and if this happens, I mean, it makes you feel guilty complaining about a sinus headache. When you see someone cut in half, you don't say to the doctor, "Is he going to pull through?" Because, you know, it's not a matter of the best care available in private room. Because if he pulls through, it's going to be in 2 pieces, you know, and you're not even sure he wants to pull through, because there'll be constant painful reminders every time he hears a Beatles medley, you know, "Suddenly I'm not half the man," you know, that's it. And his wife. Well, listen, I mean, and it's not in a cruel way, but imagine his wife years down the road, "Honey, let's clean out that closet, throw away these trousers you never wear anymore." But I like to think I'm sophisticated, and I like, you know, classical music or show tunes now, Cole Porter, and I become what I consider...
So there's that side of you as well.
That side, where I thought, you know, where you can laugh at the lyrics to an old Coward song. Go up to see Bobby Short and play the latest Sondheim song. But yet, my ideal... perfect show, then, would be a musical comedy. Get a Fred Astaire, get a Gene Kelly, but have it directed by Tobe Hooper. Somewhere in this show, have someone cut in half with a chainsaw. Maybe Robert De Niro. He would love that. No, really cut me in half, because otherwise it looks fake. With the whole... I'll gain 40 pounds, cut me in half. Draw on cork. And Vanessa Redgrave would shave her head for the part, even if she wasn't being considered. But the point is... the whole thing could maybe call it Cocktails of the Living Dead. Have a score by, you know, Rodgers and Hart. Bobby Short could play Isn't It Romantic? That would be my ideal.
So a cocktail and a horror film.
Cocktail and a horror film.
Yeah, that's good. Good idea. Yeah. Now you're on your way back to the film, right?
I hope so. If they're probably looking like mad for me.
All right. Martin Mull's second edition to the History in White People in America with Fred Willard and other projects. Nice to see you again, Fred.
Thanks, David.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. We'll be right back. That's it. Nice to see you, Fred. Come back anytime. My thanks also to James Taylor and Ostaro. They're having coffee right now.
Join Dave tomorrow on an all-new late night with actor Eric Roberts and comedian George Miller.
Ooh, lots of fun. We'll see you then. Good night, everybody.
Time for another guest.
Oh, gosh. Our next guest has just completed filming the motion picture Roxanne with Steve Martin and can currently be seen on Cinemax in the History of White People in America. Please welcome the mild-mannered and very funny Mr. Fred Willard. Fred, come on out, buddy. Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. Fred.
Holy cow.
You're wearing one of these shirts, too.
Well, yeah, Paul looks great in it. I didn't know I was on tonight.
What is going on here?
Well, there was a big mix-up. I thought I was on tomorrow night. Someone was supposed to call me. More about that later. I was walking down Fifth Avenue, and someone says, hey, I see you're on the Letterman show tonight. I said, holy cow, I got our...
So the mix-up, you thought it was tomorrow night?
Yeah. And it's funny, as I'm running away, he says, how much does something like that pay?
Yeah.
You know, they're always interested in something. But,
so you have your regular clothes and your street clothes.
Well, thankfully, one of your production assistants was kind enough to run back to the hotel and get me something decent.
Good.
Because I want to say, I have enough respect for you
I appreciate
and
that.
your show and your audience to dress and look as nice as I can, as long as you're kind enough to have me on.
We love having you on,
Well, thank you.
regardless, actually, of how you're dressed, but
Well,
I appreciate the sentiment.
That's what Paul can carry it off. I really can't. Because you never can tell from 1 minute, at any given moment, hundreds of people could be watching this show at home. And anyway. But I don't want to complain to start off. I am so happy to be here.
Yeah.
New York at this time of year
You
is one of my...
enjoy New York?
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's the beginning of the holiday season, one of my favorite
Autumn
times
is
of the
nice.
year, yes. And it's a season of joy and giving and love. I was in a department store today on Fifth Avenue, and a man walked in, and I noticed him. He stole a very valuable necklace with a locket. And I watched him. He walked out, and then he came back in. He walked up to a clerk, and he said, can I have this gift wrapped?
Yeah.
And she didn't know he'd stolen it. And she said, well, there's a service charge for wrapping. He says, money is no object. It's a gift from my wife. And everyone just applauded because, and that is the thing. This is a time of love and giving.
They applauded, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even a security guard who caught on by this time. But don't put a money dollar value on your love.
You really can't. No. It's priceless, isn't it, Fred?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad to be here, and I've been busy. I've been up in... excuse me again, but I just...
That's all right. You need some time here alone?
Well, where would you go? I mean, I hate to send you out of the room. And, but I am on tonight. Right.
Yeah.
My worst fear is I'm going to walk on and Bob Hope will be sitting here or something. And I just met him in Vancouver in a hotel.
Oh, nice man.
Yeah, very nice man. Our
You're
conversation...
up there doing your film, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But our conversation lasted from the 15th floor to the lobby, at which time I told him I was also from Cleveland, which knocked him out. Yeah. And, well, are you from Cleveland? All right.
I thought he was born in England.
Born in England, but raised in Cleveland.
Raised in the Cleveland area.
Anyway, I have been up in Vancouver.
Roxanne.
Roxanne, yeah. Steve Martin. Steve Martin wrote it and is starring in it. It's got
while you're at it, would you like a flu shot?
All kidding aside, it would, but Steve Martin, Shelley Duvall, a great cast. Yeah. Daryl Hannah. Yeah. It was very beautiful.
Oh, lovely woman.
Through the whole 8 weeks of filming, she kept saying, "Please don't do that, Fred."
Yeah.
And some great young comics who you probably know. Steve Middleman, Max Alexander, Damon Wayans, Michael Pollard is in it, John Kaplos. And I was supposed to have a clip here, but,
a clip? Not have a clip?
And does this do it? Now,
Fred,
my pants...
Fred, no,
I forgot. There are no pants.
No, they're right over there.
Oh!
Fred.
Thank heaven. My worst fear is that I'm going to appear on national television without trousers. I have to sit on it. Holy cow. Anyway, and but there is a breakdown in communication. You tell someone to do something. No, but what happens to responsibility?
You're using Nair, aren't you?
No brand names now. I'll probably get a carton of them and have to use it. But and walking down Broadway, lovely thighs, Mr. Willard. Anyway, where was it?
All of the people.
There is a responsibility, and a lot of people. Hope these are my pants there.
Okay.
Excuse me, just a second.
Yeah. Now, Fred. Now, if you get a date like this goofed up, like you thought it was tomorrow night, how are you able to fly around, like from Vancouver to L.A. and New York to Vancouver?
You do a lot of traveling, and I used to just go up to hotels and ask for a room, and it's tough. Yeah. You probably have people that call ahead and do this for you, but there's always conventions in town, there's the IBM people or the Xerox people. I went to Chicago recently.
3 different hotels. The furniture people are coming. The furniture people are in town. The furniture people have taken over the city. It started to sound like a horror film, you know? Yeah. They left on vacation. How did they know they would encounter the furniture people? But even if you get a reservation, a confirmed reservation, you know you're in trouble when you go up to the reservations desk and the clerk starts doing one of these. And they'll never say, gee, we goofed, you know. Yeah, no. They'll make you sound guilty, make you feel guilty. They'll say, when did you make this reservation? Like maybe you tied your name to a balloon and sent it out the river. Or pass on the message with an interstate trucker. Reserve a room for me at the Park Plaza. 10-4, good buddy. And then they always make it sleazy. They say, how long will you be needing this room? Like and you want to say, well, as soon as the autopsy is over. But now I have a problem. Again, you probably rent out a whole floor, right?
Oh yeah.
Are you troubled by noise in hotels?
Well, it's tough, especially in New York. Anything below the 16th floor is crazy.
Traffic, doors slamming. Yeah. Well, I don't want to start on that anyway. But in the morning, if you have to get up early, the thing to do is put that sign on the door that says "Do Not Disturb," right. Because about 7:45, that means you're going to hear boom, 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 housekeeping. And you can't just pretend you're sleeping, because they will not go away. Yeah. They'll put the key in the door, and it doesn't help if you put the chain on, because that's worse, because then you get a little symphony. Boom, boom, check it out.
Oh. Well, you've had your hands full, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just wanted to say we're nearly out of time, but thanks for being here. But I also wanted to say I thought you were terrific in the history of white people. This is the political version, isn't it?
The political one,
yeah,
yes. We had a lot of fun. I guess Martin was on, touting it, blowing
Harry Shearer was on, everybody was on.
I think we offended some...
Going to be in Roxanne, too.
Yes, that's out in the summer. Why even mention it?
Good to see you again.
Thank you, David.
Nice to have you.
We'll be
right back, folks, with Hiram Bullock.
Do that yearly telethon thing.
Let's do the show. Come on. Who are we kidding? We're lucky to be on the air. You know, whenever my first guest comes by, he stops in and says hello, and we're always happy to have him here. He can still be seen on Cinemax in the history of white people in America, and he's just completed a brand new syndicated show called DC Follies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fred Willard.
Thank you for having me.
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You know, I think the last time you were here, I mentioned this, and I'm going to say it again. I saw the most recent edition of White People in America, White Crime. No, Religion.
White Religion, yes.
And I think you're terrific on the show.
Well, thank you very much.
It's very entertaining, and you do a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. Where our daughter has SEX and
that's right.
More so than MOM and DAD. Yes.
Yeah.
And knows more about it. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. It really is. Particularly, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, when you come to New York, do you ever notice any different from one visit to another?
Well, now, particularly, New York is #1, and it is definite. That's why I'm thrilled to be here. We did not believe it, the rest of the country, after the World Series, when we saw everyone holding up that finger. But since the Super Bowl, it's official. New York is #1. The rest of us are bupkas. I mean, the morale around the country. I'm from L.A. My parents live in Cleveland. We have friends here tonight from St. Louis, and everyone is really down the dumps. Some of the Indianapolis Colts have to win something, or the Cardinals. But anyway, and I've noticed, it's interesting, I've noticed a mellowing of the New York...
Is that right?
Yes, attitude. Last night I was at 9th Avenue and 45th. A man was robbed at gunpoint, and he handed over his billfold, and then he said, could I have my credit card back? And he gave him the credit card. He said, could I have a couple of bucks for cab fare? And then he said, could I have my lucky silver dollar? Finally, the robber took the billfold and threw it at him and says, you obviously need this more than I do, and stormed off, and the poor victim followed him up the street saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything, and he had to sit and comfort him for a few minutes. And all the witnesses kind of silently applauded that, because there must be so much stress involved with crime.
I think you're right. I don't think you would have seen that before.
No, a few years ago, it'd be, well, take your damn billfold. No. So, but in New York, it's not a place for a guy like me. I admire you. You've been on the show 5 years, and you have a facility of talking with people. I don't know how you are in private life. People say, what is David Letterman like? I really don't know. But
let's keep it that way.
Good. No. But just here, you know, you talk to people, and it must be wonderful. I have trouble, like I'm walking in Times Square, and you know, like if a panhandler approaches you,
Well,
you can
Times
either,
Square is a rough area.
you can give him money, or you can ignore him, or just, you know, do this. I have friends that actually turn their pockets inside out. That's a bit too much.
I think so too.
Yeah. But if a prostitute, now for instance, what if a prostitute comes up to you? I never know how to react to this, and because it's a fairly attractive looking woman by most standards, and she's not wearing a sign that says prostitute.
Right, right. So you're not really sure, are you?
Not sure,
Yeah.
or the international symbol, whatever the heck that would be. And she'll walk up and she'll say, hi, do you want to have a good time? Now, I never know how to answer that. I feel silly saying no.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They explain, I'm just in here to do Letterman, you know, and maybe I'll catch a Broadway show or see Bobby Short up at the Carlisle.
Yeah, because in the larger sense, everybody really
Well, you do want
wants
to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that, first...
Bobby Short, did you say?
At the Carlisle, yeah. I've never seen him. The tariff's pretty stiff, but I would like to go up to see him. No, the important thing is at first you're flattered because this woman has singled you out, but then when you realize it's kind of insulting that she thinks you look like the kind of man that needs to purchase a woman's favors. And another thing that annoys me, once you get them up to your room, it's another $5 for this and $10 for this, and it never stops. I mean, so I've been told.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Sure.
So they say.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have you here, and
It's
you got
all business. You can tell I have a business-like attitude about me tonight.
Well, I've always felt that you were a consummate professional in the. Now tell me about DC Follies. This is a brand new, another show for you. Another. You do a lot of shows. You're very busy.
Well, thank you. I do. It would be set in a bar in Washington, and they bring people in now. They're life-size dummies they bring in. We had Ronald Reagan, we had Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford.
So is it like a puppet show?
Life-size puppets.
Yeah.
Woody Allen, you were in it, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah. In a scene, it's hard to explain. It had something to do with Johnny Carson and Joan Rivers in a motel room. It was kind of convoluted. You'll have to see it. But it's interesting. I mean, the days are over of calling an agent saying, can we get so-and-so? They just make a puppet, and they're so lifelike that
Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. In fact, people said in seeing a scene with me and one of the puppets, you couldn't tell which was the actor and which was the dummy. It's amazing. It's the skill, the technicality is wonderful. But the important thing is I don't have to sit back and hope that sells because I'm more interested in this home video I've put out here.
Oh, well, that's important. You're branching
and I hope I can show it here a little later.
Yeah, what is the area?
It's actors on acting, teaching actors to act, and I don't mean like on film, because if anyone ever saw me act in the movies, they wouldn't pay a dime for that. The point is, actors are very comfortable in front of the cameras, but when we get backstage or out in the street...
It can be a little awkward.
A little awkward, as with the little situation with the panhandler.
I'll tell you what, we'll do a commercial there, and then can you show us a little of that?
If you'd allow me, I would love that.
I would love to see that.
I am.
All right, we'll do a commercial here. We'll be back with Fred Willard. Here, and Mary Wilson and Jimmy Brogan. If your life depended on it, could you make a screen door?
No, I couldn't.
See,
I would have trouble knowing where to go to buy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually.
And these guys, within 8 minutes, literally, boom, 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 2 screen doors.
That is amazing. Yeah. Well, maybe this little tape I'm making helps in situations like this.
This is teaching actors how
to act in everyday situations. Now, it started out as just for actors. Now, this is the pilot season in Los Angeles. A lot of us friends are going up for the same part. Some of us are getting it, others aren't. It can be awkward. And I thought I would try to show how to carry on. Now, here's the thing. You've gone up to a studio, you've auditioned for a part, and you think you've got it. You think it's just about the phone rings.
Okay.
Hello? Hi, Harvey. What? Yes, the project down at Universal. I read for them. I think they're interested in me. What? You got the part? Harvey, I am thrilled. I am thrilled.
All right. Let me point out what the reason for the I am thrilled, because if there's this silence on your end, your friend is going to be paranoid enough to think you're jealous. But, and also, you don't say I am thrilled 3 times, they'll think you're obsessed. Now, at this point, you're going to need a moment or two to regroup your thoughts, and so, voila.
Harvey, hold on. I'm getting a call on my other line. I can't believe they gave the part to Jimmy Kennedy as well. Harvey, it's my agent on the other line. I have to take this call, but
That's
but
good.
I recommended you.
The key there is,
very good.
I recommended you, because now he's not only happy that he has a role, but he's going to owe you a favor.
right.
That's what this business is all about.
Exactly.
Helping each other, right? Now,
this is valuable
well,
information.
sure it is. Now, friends have begged me to expand this. They said, Fred, I have to take my car to the garage mechanic. I have friends who will rehearse talking to a mechanic. The thing you want to do, you want to have the mechanic think you know what he's talking about. You don't want to, you know, when they seem to rise at you out of the engine, and after a while, they know what they're talking about. You feel like a Tennessee Williams character. Oh, I depend on the kindness of others. No, you don't want to do that. Now,
That was very good, by the way.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You want to avoid that. And you've taken your car in, there is carburetor problems, and here's what happens.
Sounds like I may have to go in and rebuild your carburetor. You're looking at about $200 here.
You mean you're looking at $200?
Look, you might be able to do this. You know how to remove the carburetor?
Refresh my
Lift
memory.
off the manifold.
Yeah.
Remove the top of the carburetor.
Just pull it off.
You know the little accelerator pump
Yeah.
that sits in there?
Well,
remove that.
Yeah.
You know the plunger on top?
Yeah.
You know how it's connected with a leather flange?
Vaguely.
Disconnect it and take it out. Reconnect your new accelerator pump.
Yeah.
But make sure you don't rupture the diaphragm, or you could be back to square one.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Look, I don't have much time. Why don't you do this?
There's the key. What we're trying to avoid there is, like if the mechanic says, be careful, this could blow up in your face. You don't want to go, oh! That doesn't that doesn't give confidence. But the point is, this is selling like hotcakes. It has made me financially independent. And so I can just do things now that are tasteful and that interest me.
Exactly.
Which I wanted to talk to you about, David. I know that you
I think this is a wonderful service, by the way.
Yes. Incidentally, I wanted to talk to you. I know that you are covered under any unforeseen contingency that, God forbid, would preclude you from appearing on this show.
I have a lot of
But if you could take my card, I might be able to show you. That's just a temporary card. I may be able to show you how you're paying much too much for your premiums.
What is this?
Not now, but no. This is just.
So you're selling insurance as well?
I just say no more. We'll talk later. I don't want to take up this. Also, I am representing the publishers of the Living Bible who are putting out this. It brings the New Testament to life in contemporary terms, contemporary words and pictures, in a leather-type binding. And
that is leather?
Leather-type
leather
binding. In gold type. We're being monitored legally here.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful gift. Would you be interested in something?
Well, it's a handsome edition, but you know, I have several Bibles at home.
Nothing. Okay.
Thank you anyway.
Then how about some hardcore pornography? Now, what happens here, you see, this could be a tool for you. Suppose you have like an Alan Alda on the show, or a feminist who comes on and says, look at this filth. Right. Now, wait, here's what you want to avoid. You don't want to do, woo, woo, this is clown on it.
You don't want to do that. You don't look like a rube,
no,
do you?
But on the other hand, you don't want to say, this is blasphemy, pluck out thine eyes. That makes you a stuffed shirt.
We're looking for the middle ground.
Middle ground, you can register your disgust without even vocalizing. Just...
Yeah.
And you can learn how to put your thumb at a certain spot, and to go back and look over certain pictures. And I think you know the type of pictures I'm talking about, David. You are mature. You know the type. Well, this is for mature adults. And lastly, you don't have to actually give it back. You can hold it up, holding it by one finger.
Just like that,
and say, could I keep this and take it home to show certain people what sort of filth is being sold over the counter? That way, you know, you can...
That's amazing. You have covered many different facets of modern life.
I think so. Yes. Now you'll know how to treat that screen door, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you can keep that as a good faith,
I can have this. Okay.
And there's no reason why you couldn't continually show snippets from my videotape and some sort of profit sharing.
It's now. When can we see DC Follies, Fred?
That'll be shown sometime. Not that I care. In February or March, it's going to be shown as a special, and then hopefully it'll go on in the fall. And I'll probably be begging you, please let me come out and promote.
More shows for Cinemax, the White People in America series?
We've done 4 of those. There's talk of doing more of those and a motion picture and all. But really, did you lose my card?
No, I've got it right here. It's Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Fred, for being here. We'll be back after... You know, the problem was I forgot to fire the cannons when the big parade came through. That was the problem. Yeah, that's why we feel cheated.
No wonder.
Like we didn't get our $1 worth of comedy there. So here's what would have happened. The people would have come through, and then I would have done this. Just like that. Yeah, see? That would have made all the difference in the world, wouldn't it?
Probably.
You feel better about yourselves, don't you? I know I do. Thank you. Sorry, Kevin. Our first guest tonight has just arrived. Has just arrived here in New York City from his home in California. That's fascinating, isn't it? Gosh, I wonder where he was born. He's here to promote his new motion picture entitled Roxanne. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to our show, Fred Willard. Hi, Fred. Well, Fred.
I'm having fun. I wish I could. Did you ever notice how difficult it is for some people to accept criticism? You know, the tempers are so short on their fuses today. I was the victim of a bold daylight robbery right down here on 6th Avenue.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But it was going well at first. We were negotiating, you know. He would take my money, I would keep my driver's license, he'd get my credit card, I'd keep it. Suddenly he says, come on, man, I don't have no time to waste. I simply pointed out to him this was a double negative.
Double negative.
If he don't have no time to waste, he does, in fact, after next thing I know, is that, then there's the argument, who gets the knife, give it back to me. Well, I laid on the sidewalk for about 10 minutes. Incidentally, I think I got some sun. It's a nice day.
You look great.
The police found a witness who came over, and he said he saw the whole thing. The knife did belong to the other guy, missing the whole point. You know, but
Are you going to be all right? Should you have that tended to? Do you want to get us...
Well, the thing is, I was supposed to promote this movie I'm in. And I thought I should go to an emergency ward.
Right.
The people from Columbia Publicity thought it would be better if I would come on and just mention the movie and when it opens, and then whisk me away to the... You know,
will whisk you away with... Oh,
that was their word, whisk me away. You have an NBC doctor who's terrific.
Very good, yeah.
Well, he couldn't come down. He's up on the 7th floor. He's working on a TV movie he's writing. I told him the symptoms over the phone, you know, the pain in the upper right quadrant through the back. He said it probably was just the knife wound, but he was not... He was not ruling out a heart attack, so
But yeah, from a layman's opinion, it looks like probably the knife.
Probably the knife, yeah. But, you know, things are getting a little dark. I may have to go off.
Well, no, we'll finish up here as soon as we can.
Wait a second. No, yeah, because I forgot to mention it opens June 19th.
Yeah.
If I don't make it through, is Paul Schaefer over there?
Yeah, Paul is over there.
I loved his music so much. Paul, if I don't make it, could you play me out like with, like, Just a Closer Walk with Thee?
We don't know that one.
How about The Old Rugged Cross?
We don't know.
We don't know that.
Could you play anything?
How about See You Later, Alligator?
Oh, no, this is... No, all right, wait, no, all right. You know, God forbid something like this should happen.
Oh, sure.
It's not taken seriously, I can see.
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't really stabbed, and I'm saying that for 2 reasons. Number one, I was taught in improvisational classes, never burden yourself with a character that's going to weigh you down. This is boring me. Anyway, secondly, I know someone would watch the show and the next 2 weeks say, were you really stabbed?
Yeah, they'd want to know, sure.
And it might be a producer who's going to offer me work, and I need all the work I have.
Yeah, we were thinking of Fred, but we understand he suffered a mortal stab wound.
Yes, yes. But I want to say, making fun of something like this, if we can, with tempers like they are in this world, if we can save one life, I think it's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And I credit this man for allowing this nonsense to go. Yes.
Now, you want to talk
about the movie?
Roxanne, right.
Remember when you were a kid, the movies when the guy was stabbed and the detective said, who did it? The man who did it was the name of the person who, and if I was the detective, I would have grabbed the knife and said, here, will this jog your memory? Then when they died, the actor for some reason would start breathing then. I don't know why they couldn't hold their breath for 5 seconds.
A couple of minutes till the camera is off,
And I would think, well, maybe it's some subtle plot point that I was missing. Maybe he's actually like, no.
Now, do you want to tell us what the movie is?
Well, it's Roxanne. The movie,
Roxanne,
Steve Martin movie. And
Cyrano de Bergerac, is that it?
Updated, it is. And it's very important promotion to these movie companies. I just came back from Daytona Beach, Florida, spring break down there.
Down there to...
375,000 college kids go down there.
You're down there to promote the
Pictures,
movie.
yes, Columbia Pictures called and said, hey, would you like to do a show in a club for one night with some of the other comics who were in the movie, Rich Scheidner and Steve Middleman and a very funny lady named Maureen Murphy. They said, Fred, you could host the show, do a few minutes, you know, and somehow it's filmed for MTV and shown on college campuses all over the country so that somehow the kids will remember it.
Did you enjoy that experience down there?
It was wonderful, and I prepared for it. I went into a place called the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles where I sometimes get up and comics work out. Do you know the place?
No, not familiar with it.
Laugh Factory.
New place, huh?
No, it's been there a few years. No, it's not like the big one.
Yeah.
I talked to the owner, Jamie. I said, I'm going to be working for a lot of college kids. What are they into? He says, all right, buddy, I'll tell you. Apartheid. The homeless, rights for the homeless, nuclear, anti-nuclear stuff. So I got down, and the first day the lady from Columbia Pictures says, Fred, there's a big rally over at one of the hotels. Would you come over? They'd like you over there. I said, don't tell me a nuclear disarmament rally. She said, no, it's a best buns contest. Cutest buns, where they get like 15 women, and they in the bikinis, and you have to judge them. I said, if I have to, I have to.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Now, you know, the kids down there are anxious. They're looking for two things, the guys particularly, beer and women.
Sure.
Not in that order particularly. And the beer is a little easier to come by than the women. Enough said. Is that right? Because there's a lot of irresponsible behavior driving up and down the main thoroughfare. Hey, honey! There's 8 of us in the car. We got beer. A very tempting offer for a lady, you know? Oh, well, okay. We'll give you a ride you'll never forget. Oh, all right.
Let's do a commercial, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Pull that out while we're away.
All right.
Okay, we'll be back here with Fred Willard. Fred Willard is here. And so what happened now when you got to the club? Did you ever actually do that?
Oh, yes. You know, the kids down there, two things you never heard from the guys down there. One is, excuse me, where's the library? Another thing is, oh, this is tawdry. There were 25 members of a gay men's chorus from a very large, prestigious northern school down there. After 3 days, they were chasing girls. Paul, a rim shot. No, but I got to the club. Now, we got to the club. They had,
let's try it again with the rim shot.
They had 1,000 kids in this club. And they brought him in, they were going to get free beer. They brought him in at 8 o'clock. The show wasn't scheduled till 11. We arrived at 5 of 11. We hear, beer, 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 beer. Everything is a chant with him, you know. Where's your girlfriend? She went swimming. Drown, drown, drown. So 1,000 kids. So the owner says, are you the MC? I said, yeah. He says, you want to start the show? It was like a stuntman leaping off a 30-story building. I said, why not? Let's do it. So I got up and I fell back on every comic's opening line. Where are you from? That started.
Sure.
Michigan, 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 Chicago. By this time, all subtle humor is out the door. Any references to Noel Coward were gone. Any socially conscious comedy. But I remembered something that an old burlesque comedian taught me. So I said, all right, who's from Chicago? Yeah. How about those Cubs? Oh, Cubs, Cubs. Pittsburgh, how about those Steelers? Steelers, Steelers. Wisconsin, is Milwaukee going to the World Series? Brewers, Brewers. Afterwards, the club owner comes by and says, you have some great material. I'd like to book you back next year. Somehow, I hope that come June 19th, the college kids, it'll be subliminal. They'll be sitting in their dorms and say, I've got to go to see this movie. I don't know why. I know they didn't remember the show. But Bud Millman was down there.
Oh, how did Larry do?
He did wonderful. He's the sweetest man.
Very nice man.
He was there all night. He kept saying, what's going on? Yeah. He said, where should I be, David? I said, I'm not David, but you just stay here. He thought you'd lead him. Well, the girls loved him, though.
Let's see, Fred. The film opens, Roxanne, you, Steve Martin, many, many others.
The name of the movie
of the movie is Roxanne, opening...
June 19th, I hope, yes.
Good to see you here. Thank you very much. Fred Willard, folks. We're going to pause for station identification, but we'll be right back. Okay, our first guest tonight is one of the funniest people working in films and on television these days. He can currently be seen with Steve Martin in the motion picture Roxanne, and it's always a pleasure to welcome him to this program. Folks, please say hello to the one, the only, Fred Willard. Hi, Fred. Nice to see you.
Nice to have you on. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing?
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me on.
Pleasure to have you.
You guys were just on vacation, weren't you?
Yeah, had a couple of weeks off.
What do you do when you go up? I mean, do you take off and go to Fort Lauderdale and just cut up, or?
Yeah, that's exactly what we stay at the Newporter down there.
No, I know
we just
that
go
place.
nuts, yeah.
Yeah. Do they ever make you stay over and work in the office?
No,
okay.
Excuse me, Fred.
Yeah.
Why don't you...
Yeah. Let me point something out. I had an observation that on most shows there's a host and a co-host.
Right.
And you have Paul, and you guys kind of support each other and work with each other. It's a nice thing to see. But there's no co-guest ever. And
co-guest?
Co-guest. And I took the liberty, hi Paul, I took the liberty, and I shouldn't have done this, I should have called you first, but I don't know where to reach you. Why don't you give me your home phone number?
Well,
because
later we'll take care of it. Yeah.
I called around, and I tried to get a professional, and I tried Joey Bishop, I tried Regis, we even tried to reach Les Crane, if you remember. But even his people didn't know where he was. But I contacted a theatrical agent, and I got this gentleman. His name is Michael, and he is an actor.
And a good one.
Yeah, and he is going to be. He is just going to be my, with your permission, of course.
Now, will this just be for the show tonight or everywhere you go from now on?
That is a wonderful idea, to have kind of a sidekick through life. Yeah. I like that very much. Because you always say, did we do that? No. All right, but let me explain why on this show it's important. Because being on this show alone is like Bob Hope working without cue cards. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger working in a film without once taking off his shirt. It's like, who's the heart doctor? Michael DeBakey?
Yeah.
Don't do that until I get to a funny line.
I thought that
no,
was
I didn't.
a funny
I just
line.
didn't get to a funny line.
I heard a name.
No. Anyhow, it is great being here in New York.
Well, we'll see how it works out. And, you spend a lot of time here, or you just come in for the show?
I just come in for the show.
You enjoy being here, though, don't you?
Well, I get an objective view because I came in like yesterday. Things have changed in New York.
Sure.
Everything's up. I saw a man on Fifth Avenue. He exposed himself to a young lady.
Oh, my God.
But he had a happy face painted on the end of his member, which is in a very But the thing, it used to be, here it is, take it or leave it, but now they know women like that. So there's a new consciousness. It's a feminist consciousness, which is good. You're from New York, aren't you?
I am from New York. Say,
Yeah.
say, Mr. Willard, why don't you tell the folks what you're doing right now?
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, go on. Tell them what you're doing.
I don't. Why are you asking me that?
Well, because all sidekicks ask us, wouldn't you like to know what he's doing right now? Hi-oh!
I'm not doing anything right now, okay?
Sorry, I didn't know. I wouldn't have asked the question.
We rehearsed this.
I thought it was
not as much as we could have because he had a callback. But let's. So I'm sorry. You were just asking me.
Do you enjoy your time spent here in New York?
I like
City?
to walk through Times Square. That's a melting pot.
That's
Should I
tough.
tell them about the story in Times Square today? We walked through Times Square.
And you should see this guy. Everywhere we went, everyone recognized him. He had everyone laughing so much, and boy, do they
love him.
Love him. Love him. I'm sorry.
I try to have fun wherever I go.
Well, yeah, that's the important thing in life.
Was it 45th Street that car was broken down?
Yes, I think it was.
A car's broken down. A guy's sitting behind honking. So I walk up to the driver of the car, and I said, you're honking
David, do you remember me? I used to wait downstairs after the show to try to talk to you. I have a little theater group down in the village. And I wanted to talk to you about sometime maybe having a dramatic segment on the show. I know the show is geared to comedy.
All right. But would you like to sit here?
Yes, I would.
No, never mind. I'm sorry, dear. I'm sorry. Where was I?
The car broke down.
Yeah, no, that's where we went. Next was 50th Street.
That's the next story, yeah.
A guy had jumped off a window, I jumped off a building. This is a crazy time of year, and he was laying there. He gathered a crowd, you know. So I walked up to the guy, and I looked down, and I said...
David, I can't tell you what a thrill it is to be here. No, seriously, because I don't know an actor who wouldn't cut off their arm to be in my spot right now.
Very nice.
Not like this guy. I mean, you should hear him backstage. Well, you were complaining that they were going to put you on late.
All right,
he was going to answer letters and talk to the audience. You wanted to get in, get out, get on, get off.
Sit there and don't do anything until we get to the funny comebacks to dumb questions line, okay? Never mind that.
All right.
Everything going all right?
Yeah. I ran into a mutual friend, Jay Leno.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a funny guy,
Oh,
very funny guy. You'd never think of him being interested in magic.
No.
But I was showing him a card trick.
All right.
Now,
David, do you ever go to showcases?
No, well,
showcases.
We're doing Death of a Salesman down
No, that's it. That's it. No, that is it. That is the last year gone.
I could comp you. I could comp you. I
Never mind.
swear.
You're done. You've ruined my time. You're
I'm
gone.
fired?
Yes.
Fine. Can I have my $10?
Never mind. You are getting full union scale.
Oh, that's what you want everybody out there to think, but I know what you told me.
Right, thank
and
you.
I want $2 for washing and ironing the shirt.
Thank you very much. I don't know if there's a security guard. Thank you very much. Go right out the way you came back.
Thank you very much.
I'm very
Nice meeting you. Good luck to you. Boy.
I'm sorry.
Kind of took an ugly turn there, didn't it?
It did. It was a viable idea, though.
It was working fine. The first 30, 40 seconds, it was solid.
You have 2 seats, unless you have a Ferranti and Teicher or a
I hate to see it go sour, though, don't you?
I don't know what went wrong.
All right, try and get a hold of yourself.
I do know what went wrong.
All right, we'll do a commercial and come back here and find out from Fred Willard. I saw you recently. I saw the contents of your closet recently.
Oh yeah,
that was very amusing.
Fun. That's going to be a Cinemax.
Cinemax, yeah. So it turned out nice.
Yes,
you want to play softball here with us tonight?
I would love to.
Great.
Yes.
Right after the show.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
I play some softball.
I'd like to have you with us.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah.
Now, tell me more about the guy. Seemed like a funny guy. Seemed like you got a little hot with him.
The point is, I know what went wrong. Hiring a stage actor.
He was a stage actor.
Because the point is, there's a certain discipline that's broken down. I started out in the theater. Did you ever do theater?
No, I never have done any theater.
10 years ago, Macon, Georgia, I was in a dinner theater there. We did the first all-white version of Porgy and Bess. Yeah. People didn't think I could sing. I still have a cassette singing Bess, You Are My Woman, and it's not necessarily so.
That's real breakthrough theater,
It is,
isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. But last year, we were in repertory. I was in a repertory outfit up in San Francisco, and we were doing Odd Couple in repertory with Glass Menagerie, among other things. The night before opening, our Felix Unger ran off with a gentleman caller.
Oh,
There is a breakdown in discipline. It's a work ethic. It's gone. It really, yeah.
The gentleman caller and Felix Unger. Were they ever heard from again?
I don't know. No, I've heard terrible stories. You don't know what I've heard of what's happened.
Yeah.
And what's worse, one was Jewish and one was Catholic,
Well.
so lips were tisking all over about that.
Yeah. What kind of high school did you go to? Where did you go to high school?
I went to a place called Kentucky Military Institute. It was a military prep school.
A no-nonsense place.
No
huh?
nonsense at all. Not a graduate, I know. Could it be? I just went back to a reunion there.
Yeah.
And the school is no longer in existence, but we went. It's now a drug rehabilitation place, which is funny, because the people there now will have no memory of being there. I have very vivid memories of being there, but I went back to a reunion, and there was no theater group. Well, there was a theater group. I didn't get involved because they're all guys, so all they would do is Stalag 17 and 12 Angry Men, you know. But and they would have a prompter there. And a prompter wouldn't give you the lines in the play if you forgot your lines, you went and walked penalty tours. You know, you got demerits. What he'd do, he'd wait till you get to an intimate part of the play, you know, when the voices are very low, and say, "Sound off, mister! Sound off like you got a pair!" You know, that kind of thing. It's that military discipline. It's just right from the beginning when you go to audition. Can I have Willard Fred say here to audition for the drama club, sir? What play? Man, music, sir. What part? No, Professor Harold, sir.
It's an interesting convergence of the two opposite ends of the spectrum, almost.
It is. But I'd love to play. I've been playing on a softball.
You play a lot in L.A., probably, huh?
I play on a team that travels around. It's like a celebrity softball team, which gives you a different problem because now you not only have to worry about your acting, you have to worry if you're playing softball well. And if they don't ask you to do a game, you say, "Is it because I don't have a
Series, or is it because I went over 4 with the last game? But we just played up in Billings, Montana. It was a big charity thing, and I met Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, that must have been quite a thrill.
Which was a thrill, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and I had my picture taken with him, you know, and fawning over him. But if you can't fawn over Joe DiMaggio, who can you fawn over? It's not like he's one of the actors on Growing Pains or something. But sad, you know, a lot of the young kids there at the game remember him as just as Mr. Coffee.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah. Well, I would believe that's true. Sure.
Like Phil Rizzuto. Holy cow, it's a hit. The Money Straw. Have you seen it? And imagine he and Joe DiMaggio getting together, watching the replay of the 1947 World Series. Holy cow, it's a hit. Please, Phil. But we're up there, and they at the game, Joe DiMaggio threw out the first ball, which was a big throw. And then, of course, someone had the idea there were clowns that go up into the stands and hand out balloons to the kids, and Happy the Clown didn't show up. And so someone said, let's get Mr. DiMaggio to dress in a clown outfit. And the man is so dignified. And rather than say, get out of here, he says, I really can't. I have a dinner appointment. But they kept pushing Mr. DiMaggio, and then Mr. DiMaggio deteriorates stuff. Oh, come on, Joe. The kids would love it. And after I'm listening to this outside the clubhouse, and after about 10 minutes, Happy's brother-in-law arrives. Tell Mr. DiMaggio we don't need him. So. The last thing, and it's sad to see Joe DiMaggio, this legend, walk out of the ballpark with a fright wig and a putty nose on. I don't understand what they mean. They went in another direction. I played in 10 World Series. Holy cow!
But life is like that.
I guess it is.
We never really know what's around each corner.
He is a legend beyond being a legend. And
the Yankee Clipper.
The Yankee Clipper, yes. I once met his brother Vince, too, who has since passed away. But that was a thrill, too, for real baseball.
So we'll see you tonight up in Central Park.
I hope so. Now I got more pressure. I'm more nervous about that.
It'll be a lot of fun. It's just,
what position will I play?
Well, I don't know.
Do you really need players? Because I'm pretty good for it.
It's like picnic softball. It's fat guys and beer.
Great, okay.
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here after station identification.
Thank you very much. Our first guest tonight, a very funny gentleman, terribly funny man. He's been here with us many times before, and we're quite thrilled to have him back. He's on a new syndicated television program called DC Follies, and that will be seen on television sets all across this country, it says here. Please say hello to an old friend of ours, Fred Willard. Oh, Fred. Hi, Fred.
How are you?
Good to see you. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
You look very peppy. You look very refreshing. I understand you flew all night.
Business-like. Yeah, incidentally, I had to just pay a $2 New York talk show appearance fee backstage. The guy in a blue uniform. Is he connected with the show?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's for maintenance, you know. You like a clean dressing room, don't you? You used to just put 2 quarters in a slot and walk through a turnstile.
Yeah,
but it's everything going up.
Oh, sure, yeah. Inflation, yeah. So you flew all night, and here you are refreshed and ready to go.
Yes, New York is beautiful this time of year.
Lovely weather.
I don't want to be too specific, because I hope you'll use this as one of your Monday night reruns, so I don't want to be saying, like in Christmas, oh, it's sweltering out there. The plane last night was delayed, you know, and the guy next to me was having a few drinks, and I don't mind. I like flying. You probably charter your own thing, don't you? But,
yeah, that's what I do.
So he got in the air, and he starts... Oh, he says, you feel that pitch and the yaw? And I said, no, I really don't. He's, oh, yeah, you heave and the right. And then he's fooling around down in the pouch there. I said, what is he up to here? And the next thing, the thing that strikes the most fear in my mind, Miss, could I have one of those bags? You know?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, and some people enjoy being sick. I can tell, you know, it's almost sadistic, because when he started, it was like, it was like Santa Claus down in Emetic or something. And then he was, and he'd light a cigarette, you know, would you hold this bag for me?
Did you use the word emetic?
Emetic.
Yeah, I think you're the first person on this show ever to use that word.
Oh, well, maybe it'll be used a dozen times now in the future.
You're a trendsetter.
Well, then he wanted another one. Could I have another bag? I bring him. Is Tom Bosley here? Bring him in with the hefty bag. You know, Jonathan Winters. Well, finally finished. Then they served my meal, and he's smoking. He says, "I'm sorry, I'm being so rude. Does my cigarette
smoke annoy you? I said, no, it's fine. He was very thoughtful.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You're here, that's the important
That
thing.
is the important
You have a
thing.
new television program?
Is that amazing? I
Yeah.
have a job,
Yeah.
and how I got it, I don't know. Even my agent was shocked. She says, how do you get these things? But it's called DC Follies,
Right.
from Sid and Marty Croft from, Productions. They're life-size dummies. Now, if you notice, I'm dressed like this, not just to be, be a hotshot. I feel very businesslike.
Yeah.
It's all changed my personality. I realize I have a few precious minutes on this show, and I want to make it as time-effective as possible for maximum impact. I would like to, I brought a tape, and if you'd be kind enough to show it.
A clip from the new show.
Clip, you can just do the usual, gee, I love the show, it looks great, I'll be gone. You can put on an extra guest, I can do another talk show someplace.
All right.
But it's a fun, and I almost forgot the show. I'm being so businesslike. I left the tape in my hotel room.
Ooh.
One of your runners, and my hat is off to him. He ran back through traffic to my hotel room.
Young intern, probably.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
really? And no problem, sir.
Yeah.
And the bellhop had to go up to my room. They called. There's no tape here, Mr. Willard. I said, it's not in the red bag. They found it in the bottom of them. Well, this is another story.
Okay.
The tape is here. All's well that ends well. And I think it's a nice show.
So this is for a little scene from DC
Follies. It's a family-type show. Adults can like it, but I think kids...
Political stuff, right?
Kind of political, celebrities. You can enjoy it on several
Okay, from the upcoming, or I guess current series,
Current
DC
series.
Follies with Fred Willard. Here's a couple of seconds of it. Let's watch.
Crawl over here, you little...
No, wait a minute.
What's the
I
matter?
don't think that... No, that's not it. Wait a second. That's not it.
I don't know. Is there a problem with the...
That is not it. No.
Al?
Al, please.
Al?
You never see...
Is that...
That is not it. No.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I was going to say, though, it looks like you have a hit on your hands. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but that's obviously a mix-up.
Did that look like me on that? You know,
yeah.
To the best of my memory, I did not appear in a tape like, and this is reprehensible.
Yeah,
I'm going to get to the. I'm going to find out who did that.
Well, we'll let the intern go. Believe me.
No, I don't. I don't blame the intern.
We'll do a commercial here. We'll find it. We'll get behind this mix-up and let you know what's
I can't apologize now.
We've ascertained now that really wasn't you on the tape.
Could I go back to the hotel real quick and look for the tape? Could you bring out another guest?
No, you're
what
here
if
now.
Paul played something like MacArthur Park? That goes on forever. I'm right down the street. I could be back.
It's fine. Why don't you tell us more about the show?
Oh, and it's a shame because it is a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Life-size puppets, life-size dummies. It's set in Washington, D.C. Puppets of Reagan and Nixon. And
all very current, very topical.
Very, very topical. We do it 3 or 4 days before the show. Woody Allen and the thing is, the people who do the voices, maybe you know John Rourke, Joe Alasky, Louise Duarte, and I mention them because it's such a talent. They do every voice.
Yeah, they do.
Because I can't do that. Can you do voices?
No, I really can't.
Everything I can do, Richard Nixon. That's about the only one. But everything else I do turns into.
Well, you
Richard.
had him right on the money there, too.
I'm doing him in the older, in the later years. Richard Nixon in the later years. But Ed Sullivan is close to that. You know, in our show, and even Elvis, I do. It sounds like treat me like a fool. So I can't do it. But it's a great.
You're versatile.
Oh,
you'll always work in this business.
I'm versatile. I admire every facet of the business. I don't really do anything, but I can appreciate talent.
So it's you. You're the only human on the show.
Human being, and we have one guest. Maybe you'll be a guest on
I'd
the
love
show.
to be a guest. I love working with puppets.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. And it could revolutionize the whole talk show thing. You wouldn't need the people. Just bring puppets on and tell them what to say. The good thing about
So what do you play on the show?
I'm just the owner of the bar,
it's
the
a bar.
bartender, you know. What's the problem today, Mr. Reagan? That kind of thing. That's it.
Is it hard work for you?
Yeah, I love it because it's 2 days a week. I'm a dedicated professional.
I know you are.
When I get a job, my first question is, how late can I come in and what time? You know, how long will we be here? But another good thing, you get invited to a lot of wonderful things.
I like this.
Yeah.
Gesture there.
Will we be here much longer? I don't care. I just have to make a call. My God, you didn't come in till 11, Fred. But I was just invited over to Hawaii.
Yeah, you were there.
I hate to admit that because anytime I hear an actor say I was invited to Hawaii, all expenses paid, I resent it. But I said, well, I'll go, but I won't enjoy it. Okay, but it was
one of those celebrity sports styles thing, and we all love to be called celebrities. Although in some of our cases it's a little stretch. They made an announcement, will all celebrities report to the center desk, kindly tell us your name and what show you're connected with or were with. You know, they're not dealing with Elizabeth Taylor.
What was the project there in Hawaii?
Something called sports styles. They were following celebrities around, finding what sport they play. You know, a lot of them do tennis, and they made fun of training for the triathlon, you know.
But you're quite an athlete.
I used to think I was, but when you get in these things, people come up and say, that's the slowest 50-yard dash I ever saw, and you make a joke out of it, you know. Comedy is one of the few professions where you can profit from your shortcomings.
Yeah.
Like a guy, you know, what guy will say, I haven't had a date with a woman in 4 years? You know, no, the average guy doesn't want, but a comic can do it. And when I got her into bed, the first thing she says is that it? You know, but a comic will... But the average guy in a bar isn't going to say that.
No, you wouldn't want to.
And I played in a celebrity baseball. You
played softball with us this summer.
The high point of my year, and I did pretty well.
You did pretty well. You got a couple of really nice shot, good hard
3 for 5.
doubles.
Yeah, but I
3 for 5. Yeah.
David,
but
you bet
solid
on both sides of the plate, which is hard to work.
Ineffectively on either side.
No, you did very well. I play in a lot of these games with actors, and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, they're maniacs.
Well, but also the lineup is, in tonight's game, Mark Harmon will play the part of the shortstop, and Fred Willard will appear as the first baseman. You know, it's a different thing. And in the last game I played, there was a soap opera star. He played me out, made a great catch. And I said, you really played that well. He said, I played it like I was a rookie, just called up from Albuquerque, and I was dating the owners. You know, you had to have a dramatic background.
Method for doing that. Yeah. Let's see, Fred. We'll make sure we have all of the stats right on you. The show is on now, right?
Yeah. It's different times in the city, in different cities, around 6 o'clock on Saturday night or 11 o'clock, and if you can find it. I don't know if it plays in Cleveland. My mother's in Cleveland.
I'm sure
God love her. And I don't know. I don't think it's. I'm not sure, but
always a treat.
Well, thank you. I'm sick about that.
No, don't worry about it.
Really
We'll take care of it.
My apologies.
Fred Willard. Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Thanks, boys. Our first guest tonight is a very funny gentleman who drops by whenever he is back this way. He is the star of a syndicated comedy television program entitled DC Follies. Please welcome the always charming, the inevitably funny, Mr. Fred Willard.
Fred. Nice to see you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Good to be here. It's a pleasure.
Kind of an odd night, but I appreciate you coming out. You flew in from...
Yes. It's a pleasure to be... I always love being here in New York. But what has happened to tradition?
Well,
I was down in Rockefeller Center. There's an old man playing the accordion, asking for requests. I asked him to play Lady of Spain. He didn't know it. I don't know. He's playing numbers by the Smiths. He's playing Tales of the City by... the Pogues, is that a new group? He didn't know Lady of Spain.
Yeah.
No. And it's a deterioration. It's a lack of dedication.
You hate to see it, though, don't you?
I do. I flew in just from San Francisco. The flight, the service is so sloppy. I had to do something I hate to do. I had to spank a stewardess.
Aren't there regulations against that, though?
That's probably the problem. They know, no one will turn them over their knee. And but it didn't do any good.
It didn't do.
The rest of the flight, she kept walking by me. Well, Mr. Willard, I spilled another drink back in row 7. You know, it's just,
oh, no.
Yes. And the plane was an hour late leaving San Francisco. It wasn't the airline's fault.
No.
We went through security, and 2 gentlemen insisted on being strip searched. And yes, and all you're going to hear is, here's another spot you forgot to look. And no, I don't like that because it is a trivialization of the security system.
I think it's a mockery.
Yeah.
It's a mockery.
Yeah. I hate it.
Let me tell you something, though, Fred. If we ever lose our sense of humor as a country, we're dead.
Oh, yes. You must have the sense of humor.
That's right. So what were you doing in San Francisco?
I wasn't in San Francisco.
Oh, you weren't?
No. I just said that for purposes of the joke. That's all, yeah. Because I figured if someday, if you're going to, your next anniversary show, if you don't have time to put my whole segment in, you can just
take that little snippet.
Look for the sentence. No, anyway, I'm glad you were able to have me on the show.
What is new with you?
Thank you for laughing, Dave. No, I'll tell you what's new. I have found, and I'm glad you were able to have me on the show, that some young actor wasn't in town with a hot movie.
I have been able to channel people through me from the dead. They speak through me.
Is that
This
right?
happened a couple of months ago. A recently deceased aunt who would never shut up in the first place.
Right.
Now it's worse. Now, and another thing, when I was alive, my doctor. But anyway, it's taken a turn for the very bizarre. Celebrities have started talking through me.
Is that right?
And I've been led to believe that tonight, since this is the 10th anniversary of Elvis Presley's death, or the 50th anniversary of his birth, or so, I don't know, it's always something with Elvis. I can't keep it straight. He is going to channel himself, manifest himself through me here for this audience.
You have communicated with Elvis before?
I am keeping, no, not yet. This will be a
this will be the first
and
one.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and
all right, so I tell you what, we'll...
I don't feel anything.
All right, let's do a commercial, and then you prepare for it. Can we do it that way?
I would like to just wait to see, because there's vibes, there's kind of doubtful vibes here, and positive vibes are clashing. Let's wait just a second.
We get those doubtful vibes every night, though, Fred.
Meanwhile, did you mention that I'm on DC Folly?
We did.
Oh,
mention
good,
that,
good.
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. All right.
We're having a lot of fun with that, and we went down to, we did a segment where I took Nixon down to San Diego to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I had an observation about the Super Bowl. Are you trying to break in?
Yeah,
I'm trying to force another joke,
I know,
just in case on the anniversary show
just cut out
you're
this tiny
30
little-
seconds
yeah, that's
late.
right.
I had an observation about the Super Bowl. The only people that are angry after a Super Bowl game are the members of the winning team, because they're always saying, people doubted us all year, they didn't think we were winners. You know, the losers are very happy. Okay. But the winners are saying, we're sick and tired of being doubted. That's right. Wait a minute. I'm getting something.
Okay, while he's getting a little something, we'll do a commercial. We'll be back after All right, Fred Willard is here, and we're trying to get a connection to Elvis there.
Well, something is coming.
Later, we'll hear from Ray Davis and our band. Monday on the program, Margot Kidder. I hope this is not interfering.
No. Just
and we have 101-year-old salesman Charles Lefcourt will be here, and singer Ricky Skaggs. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a rerun. How you doing, Fred?
Is someone up there? Is that you, Elvis? Elvis?
Oh, God. What?
Hello, this is Sid Feinfarber, legal representative to the deceased. If you have recently passed away or about to pass away, you may be a victim of negligence and have grounds for legal action. When you are dead... Sid, could we get back to you? We're waiting to talk to Elvis Presley.
Yes.
I don't know.
So that was kind of a mix-up.
He slipped in a commercial.
A trunk line problem or something, yeah.
I hope this doesn't...
Different transponder. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like the first olive out of the bottle. Après-vous le déluge, huh?
I guess.
Elvis, is that you? Elvis?
Oh, Fred, are you all right? Can we get some cold compresses?
Larry Williams, remember me? Short, fat, fanny, bony Maroney? Larry Williams.
I don't remember Larry Williams.
Larry, could we get back to you? We're waiting to hear from Elvis Presley. Oh, man, I'm up here in rock and roll heaven with a lot of famous people.
Well, you're in the right area, for heaven's sakes. That's something.
Larry, I'm going to be on the Tom Snyder radio show in about a month. Could you manifest yourself then? Say what? Could you talk then on the Tom Snyder show? No, we ain't going to hang around. Come on, buddy. Come on, JP. You know what I like.
Yeah, okay. Oh, now, Fred, this looks... Are you all right?
It usually takes me longer to come out of these things, but I know you're leading into a commercial.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly...
Well, don't hurt yourself.
And JP, could that have been JP Richardson, the Big Bopper?
Probably was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Elvis, are you there? He's just not coming tonight. You know how I knew he was going to come? His people...
Wait a minute. He's not coming?
I don't know.
After all of that, and he ain't coming? Come on, Fred.
His people... And you don't think of people having... Oh, Elvis, are you there? Justin, 1, 2, 3. Speak up, please. This is Elvis Presley.
Oh, well, there you go.
I want to say hello out there, and I want to say hello to David Letterman, my favorite talk show host, because he knows how to take care of business.
Thanks, Elvis.
And if I were alive today, I'd appear on your show, and I'd sit in with Paul Schaefer.
That'd be very nice. We'd enjoy that.
You're not feeling well tonight, understand,
I have
David.
the flu, Elvis.
Oh, well, don't take too many aspirins. They'll kill you, I'll tell you that. And I don't want to sing tonight. I want to tell a couple of jokes, and you just tell me when I've run out of time,
Okay,
all right?
All right.
Elvis, I think that's a mistake. I'd rather hear a song.
Yeah, we really were looking forward to a song.
Oh,
Elvis.
shut up, Fred, and just face me towards David. Never mind rolling your eyes, either.
David, I thought maybe someday you and I could work in Vegas. That's a strange town, you know?
Yeah, it is.
I once went into church there to take communion. There was a 2-drink minimum.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they didn't bury me in Las Vegas. They would have planted me at 8 o'clock and again at midnight, and there'd been a 2-drink minimum there, too.
Yeah, that's
Put
right.
Jackie Kahane in. Anyone out there from Memphis, Tennessee?
Okay.
Anyone from the South? I never thought I'd see Elvis pandering for cheap applause.
Sure.
Fred, I made up a joke when I was in Hume's high school. A man walks up to a lady at a bar and says, "Lady, your pants are coming off." She says, "No, they're not." He says, "Don't argue with me. I've made up my mind."
Yeah.
That's it. I gotta go. I'm going. Thank you so much for being here.
Elvis Presley. Geez, Fred, take care of yourself. Fred will be seen, of course, every week on DC Follies. And
Did he appear? Did
yes,
he
he was here,
Oh,
Fred.
no
It was unbelievable. I'm
I
sorry you
missed
missed
it.
it. And scenes from a white marriage coming soon. Fred Willard, let us go. He started telling some bad jokes. Connie Chung. Now, Connie may or may not be on the program tonight. Let me explain this to you if you're just joining us, like some of our guests. We understand that Mr. Fittipaldi has not yet landed. Is that correct? He lands at 5:50. Where? At Newark. At Newark. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be here a week from Tuesday. Apparently, he did not win a watch for winning the race. Geez, could he have cut it any closer? All right, so if he may not be here, then he'll be on tomorrow night. So if you're wagering, it's a pretty good bet that Connie will be on tonight. She's a hooting Connie. She's in there getting her makeup. And in the meantime, Fred Willard is here. And who else? Swing Out Sister.
Swing Out. We are going to swing out.
Gospel group, Paul?
No. Two very, very lovely British kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. We'll be looking forward to them. Our first guest is a very funny man, and he's here on this program periodically, and tonight is one of those periods. He is the host of the syndicated show DC Follies. Please welcome back an old friend, Mr. Fred Willard. He's right here. Hi, Fred. Nice to see you. Fred Willard.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. You're here on time and ready to go.
I arrived
that.
last night.
Yeah,
Next time I'm going to come that day. I'll get more coverage.
He's not even landed yet. He'll land at 5:50, and he's probably under the mistaken impression that once he hits the ground, it'll be 200 miles an hour right into Midtown.
Sure, right. I had a siren last night, and I was coming in at 9 o'clock at night. Connie Chung just said to me, "Am I going on or not? The suspense is killing me." Well, I'm angry at you. I saw you back. Yes, I am, and I had my hair cut different since the last time you see me. You haven't said a word, for heaven's sake.
It looks
Man,
great.
what are you going to do?
It looks great, Fred.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But
how are things there on your show?
Well, fine. DC Follies. We're waiting to hear if we're going to be picked up.
That's been on quite a while now, hasn't it?
2 seasons.
Yeah,
We had
pretty
a
good.
great season. People ask me what I've been doing in the last year. I say nothing, because you forget that you do it. But we had some wonderful guests.
What do you mean you forget that you do it?
You do them all in a bunch. You're on every night.
That's right.
So,
you do yours in a lump, and then you go on to other things. I see.
lump. Yeah, yes, in a series. Group. But we had Mike Tyson on. Has he ever been on a guest?
Been on a couple times, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Seemed like a nice enough fellow. What did you think?
Very nice. He walked by and he looked at me and says, "Hi, Fred," and that was quite a thrill to know that he's a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Of course, he may have thought I was one of the puppets.
Yeah.
But he said to me something interesting. He said, "Gee, Fred, it always amazes me how we can transpose our image from one finite spot to another electronically using the pre-existing ions in the air," which even I hadn't even thought of.
Wait a minute.
So he had a good hold on the thing. Andy
Mike
was on
Tyson said
time.
that to you, huh?
Yes. But New York is wonderful this time of year. I haven't been here since the winter, and I'm walking downtown today. It's warm out, and the people are all dressed up. They're wearing their pistols and their paisley holsters.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
and I was mugged when,
really?
I was someplace where I shouldn't have been.
Where
my
was that?
hotel room.
Thank you very much.
But then you're welcome. And, but the guy...
there it is.
See, he left room for another joke just in case there was one.
We need to do some editing later.
There's another one coming in a little later on if Fittipaldi doesn't show up. But what annoys me, I didn't mind, you know, he had a gun, little guy, and I said, lavender holster. He says, is it too much? I said, you're a big guy, you can carry it off. But he stole, I didn't carry the money, but some material that I was working on, I was even thinking of doing on the show
some comedy
tonight.
Stuff?
And I said, I was going to do that on David Letterman. He says, are they looking for comedy? So I have a feeling he's going to show up and try to pawn it off. He's about 5'6", Hispanic or Middle Eastern. He's got a tattoo that says, peace, let it begin with me. And he may try to pawn off what I think is a very smart routine about Cole Porter and Noel Coward on a cruise ship in the Bahamas. Apprehend him immediately. Of course, he may give a nice spin on it and do better than I did.
Well, that could be one of any number of guys. We get that all the time.
No, and I bet they get a good break only on this show. Mark Carson wouldn't listen to
now,
him.
What else are you doing? What other activities?
My friend asked me to judge. I have a friend who's doing a Legends in Concert. You know, impersonators come along, and so far he's got one Janis Joplin, one Buddy Holly, and as he puts it, I'm up to my ass in Elvis's.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird picture when you close your eyes. I did he wanted me to be involved because I did Elvis Presley once, you know, when I worked in the clubs.
I didn't realize that.
I used to open up with Elvis. It's One Night with You. And first night I came out, I had the cape and a white scarf and the sunglasses, and I walked out of the dressing room, I thought I looked just like the king.
Right.
And a waitress was walking by, and she says, don't tell me, I know, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
So right there,
it went right downhill. Sure, nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. And sure enough, they've had the first Liberace sighting. Someone claims they...
Oh, he's back.
They saw him... They claim he's alive. They saw him at a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball game. And I said, I don't...
You might have been a big baseball fan.
He could have been, you know, but it's hard to hide yourself when you're... And I suppose you've seen the new underground tape that's... I don't know if you guys have seen it. George Michael, they have video of him in bed with a full-length mirror.
No, I haven't seen that one.
A full-length mirror.
Full-length mirror, Anton. Thank you very much.
No, I didn't. No, I just... Not for a but it's more of a musician's joke, George Michael. He's a good-looking guy. I think I'd go to bed with a full-length mirror, too, if I look like him.
I'll tell you what, let's do a commercial. You can hang around a little bit longer, can't you?
Yes. Let's make this dramatic. I'll stay here till that race car driver arrives.
Okay.
If we have to cancel the...
That's the spirit. We'll be right back with... Perhaps Emerson Fittipaldi. If Emerson Fittipaldi is not here, then it's Connie Chung, who is here.
Just got word that Emerson's bags went to Boston.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah, they're coming down.
Darn the luck. I hope they don't come on the Trump shuttle, or we could be here all summer. Did you, you know, I don't know much about your background. Are you from a show business family?
No, I'm not. And so, as a result, I'm kind of thankful for anything I get in the business. I'd never had a father who was a producer.
What did your folks do?
Oh, I don't. Well, my father was in something big, banking, or so. He died when I was quite young. And but I was just thinking about this because I'm going up to Toronto to play in a... Wayne Gretzky has a softball game, celebrities against hockey players, and I found that most athletes want to be actors, and most of them can do it. But they don't have, even if they don't have the background, which I don't have. But I'm thinking most actors can be athletes can be actors. I'm so nervous about that flight. You know, I had to run out and make a call.
Relax.
So anyway, I should have just answered the question you asked me. No, you know, when I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, kind of a showbiz, blue collar, steelworkers kind of thing.
Hard-working, middle America.
So my buddies, none of my buddies ever said, "Hey, you want to do a show?"
Yeah.
You know, because someone else would say, "Here's your show. Do this right here." You remember that from when you were a kid?
Sure I do.
You'd say, "Peterson, you absolutely amaze me." You'd say, "Yeah, that's what she said last night." You know, the whole
that kind of thing.
Can't you carry on a decent conversation? Here's your conversation. But the point is.
So, I got your Fittipaldi right here.
Exactly right, and it can go on forever. See, now you said it and got a bit bigger laugh than when I. That's why you're sitting there.
It was an ugly image.
Yeah, but anyway,
So I was constantly, with these stories of actors, you know, in my family, when you were told no, you took no for an answer.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah, you're from Indiana,
That's right?
I'm from
sure.
Cleveland, Ohio. But I'm amazed when I hear stories of actors who are sent out of an office. No, we don't want you. They go down, they dress up as a delivery boy, they burst back in, lock the door. Mr. Selznick, it's me. I'm not let you go until you... I mean, this is so foreign to me. Because my father would say, no, and that's fine. I'd say, oh, poo. What? I'd say, oh, poo. Oh, now you're definitely not going. Oh, you never let me go. Then why should this be any different? Oh, I hate you. If you hate me, why should I let you know? It would never let you go. So then, to make things worse, I went to a military college.
Where was that?
Virginia Military Institute.
Isn't that like the oldest military college in the country?
No, that's the Citadel in South Carolina.
This would be close.
This is called, if you were from the Citadel, you would not whistle out loud in a public place.
Sure.
At ease, mister. Yeah. Or as they'd say, your butt will be mine. No, but that's the South Carolina. That's a military term.
Military term.
You're still back on the Liberace reference. So anyway, VMI.
VMI.
It's a great place.
Steeped in tradition.
And they're hip guys, intelligent guys, but you don't hear anyone in the barracks say, hey, you were in New York this summer, did you catch Phantom? Because, you know, they'll say, no, I didn't, and your tie is just, you know, carry on.
Yeah, they're all business.
Right. No one's going to say, Phantom, I laughed, I cried, it was more fabulous than Les Mis. But I still love theater. You know, though they say those who can't do like to watch. And I use that just for theater, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But if you want to see, like Shakespeare, you go to New York, go to the Joseph Papp Theater, you know, the actors, it's a workshop, give and take, actors in black, you know.
Exciting.
New York actors are... I had a friend who was a New York actor. We had to talk him out of having his leg amputated to audition for Moby Dick.
No, see, that's...
To audition for Moby Dick. Just to audition, yeah. But then... you know, you go to Cleveland, they'll have Hamlet starring Judd Hirsch or John Ritter. You know, these are...
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Sure,
I should have thought of a funnier name, like Phil Rizzuto.
Phil Rizzuto, yeah.
Get thee to a nunnery, but first stop by the money store. But what annoys me, in L.A., they're doing a version of Hamlet now. You know, I was in a Cole Porter musical where they had other Cole Porter songs just to goose up. People they don't know. Hamlet has so many wonderful quotes. Get thee to a nunnery, neither a borrower nor a lender be. The lady doth protest too much. The producers decided to add other quotes just to goose
Heat it up a little.
Yeah, which is okay. That, like they put in from Richard III, My Kingdom for a Horse. I didn't mind that. Or ones that sound like Shakespeare, like, 'tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. That's Alfred Lord Tennyson, I think. Paul will back me up on that. But what really galled me when they put in, Anton, are you ready? When they put in lines, no, it really galled me like, 'tis never over till the fat lady sings.
There you go.
Or when in doubt, let it all hang out. All right.
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Fred, do you have one more?
Well, no, but I'm saying the audience was leaving saying, I didn't know Shakespeare wrote that.
Good. All right.
I could have one more if Emerson hasn't arrived.
All right, we'll see.
We can make up Shakespearean quotes.
It's Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. The show is DC Follies. Fred, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be right back. Our next guest, a comedian and an actor who appeared on the now classic Fernwood Tonight. His new show is called Access America, and it can be seen on Friday nights on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Fred Willard. Fred. Fred, how are you? Rest of the holidays. Thank you for being here. Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you here.
It's good to be here, and I came right out. I want to keep the pace up, going, you know. And it's great to be in New York over the holidays.
It's fun, isn't it?
But what has happened to this city? Would you believe I was kidnapped today in broad daylight? 3 women called me over to the car, asked for directions, hauled me in the car. Big, beautiful women. I think I saw one in Vogue magazine. They took me up to their apartment, bound me with velvet things. They were going to keep me overnight as their sex slave.
Oh, my God.
They were walking around the apartment in their underwear, and all I could think of is, I have to be on the David Letterman show. Luckily, I fashioned a rope out of sheets, and But as soon as this show is over, I'm going to contact the authorities.
Good shoot. Oh, yeah, I think you should, yeah.
Then again, I think maybe I should find that rope and go back and get some evidence.
Yeah,
you can come with me if you want.
Yeah. But aside from being on the program, what brings you east this time of year?
Well, actually, I just came from seeing my daughter. She's at Mount Holyoke. Her name is Hope Willard. So Mount Holyoke.
How old is she?
Well, she's 13 years old as far as I'm concerned, but she's 21. No, you know, she's still... Now, don't do that. The funny thing is, the beginning of this year, I get the book bills from the bookstore, and there's a History 4, English 3, Safe Sex. She bought a book called Safe Sex.
Sure. Well,
so I say to my wife, did you see this? And she says, I saw it. Well, we're liberated parents. It's the 90s. It turns out Safe Sex is a book of one-act plays by Harvey Fierstein.
Oh, sure.
My daughter is in the theater department. She's directing one of the scenes.
Yeah.
And so we went and we saw it. She did a wonderful... You are fabulous, darling. We didn't have time to stay. You know, we always leave before the flight. Tell our daughter we're flying to New York. She was fabulous. But she wasn't acting in it because I wasn't too nervous. And besides, then I would have to say my daughter's performing Safe Sex.
Yeah, no, that's unpleasant, I would think,
I'm
as a
telling
parent.
everyone she's directing Safe Sex. Oh, she must be very well respected. I saw a wreath on my hotel that says, Merry Christmas, hands off, this means you. I don't know, it's a sign of the times.
Sure, here in New York City, things are tough. Now, you know, I think the last time we saw you, you had come in town in the summer, and we tried to get you to come out and play softball.
Yes. I was just going to do that celebrity softball game. I was asked to play for the soap opera stars.
Right, it's
Did
a
you
big
ever
league.
get involved with those?
No, we didn't play them. Yeah.
Well, they're good athletes. Well, this was an interesting game because they were playing against the studio actors.
Right.
Which is unusual. They're very intense. They're the guys, you know, James Dean, Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
They were slouching around the field in black turtleneck sweaters with cigarettes saying, what does baseball mean to me? I had no boyhood. And their director, their coach came and said, we would like to do away with all the rules and just improvise the game. You know, And I said, no. So the soap opera guys, we had infield practice. And it was tough because there was a constant din from over there. Nobody loves me. No one will throw me the ball. I said, guys, could you hold it down? You don't care. No one cares. My father was an alcoholic. My mother's a prostitute. So we got down to business. And then I'd started the soap opera guys saying, should we be playing ball with the earth and the condition it's in today?
Yeah.
So I said, look, let's just have infield practice. So our coach actually was one of the stars of our lives. And they don't wear hats when they play because they have great hair.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, Trapper, the third baseman, I'm going to hit you a grounder. Here's the situation. There's one out. There's a runner on second. You're married, but you're having an affair with a first baseman's wife. I said, could we just... They wanted a dramatic through line.
Yeah.
Then when the actor studio guys were saying, what he's telling you is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. I don't think we even ever got the game up. But Tony Orlando came to open the game with a Star-Spangled Banner.
Is that right? Yeah.
Forgot the words.
No.
We had to open with tie a yellow ribbon around the
Oh, well.
And then, you know, and he's a wonderful artist, and people say stupid things. Someone said to him, Tony, what happened to Dawn? They were the best part of the act. Well, that's it.
Yeah, that's no good.
So last we saw him, he was getting into his limo saying, you want Dawn? Here's your Dawn.
Yeah,
Right?
Jesus, you sound like an ugly.
It turned out.
Yeah. It had the potential for something fun and good,
wonderful.
but it was ugly. That's
wonderful and warm. It could have been. But it was for a good... It could have been for a wonderful charity. It was, as a matter of fact. It was to give acting lessons to the homeless.
Oh, that's... Sure, yeah.
Well, they feel that if you feed a homeless person, he eats for one...
Right.
But if you give him acting lessons and 8x10 glossies and good representation. Well, you know, you're reading it like this is a true story, and I'm feeling embarrassed now. But I've got to get back to that apartment.
Oh, yeah. Now, first, before you run off here, tell us about the show, Access America.
Access America on Hot TV.
I think this is, when I heard about this, I said, this sounds like a great idea for a show.
It is a good idea, because we got clips from all the Access shows around the country, and there are hundreds of
Now, what does it mean exactly, Access?
That's where you just go into a studio, pay $35 or $40, and do your own show.
This is involved with the cable systems around the country.
Cable access. Every city has them, and I think the days of actors struggling and going off to summer stock with Dick Powell and June Allison and taking fencing lessons and dancing like you probably did. Remember those hours in the fencing?
Still do. Sure, of course, yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's just now, let's go and do our own show.
We have to just buy our own little TV time.
We had some interesting hosts. There's one, Sister Paula. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Two things about Sister Paula. She's a host in Portland. One interesting thing, she has her own ministry. And secondly, she happens to be a man.
Well,
and a very
there you go.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But it's a very interesting host.
And you have a representation from all of these shows all over the country.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
next season, I think we're going to go to Europe and all. And
great. And that begins when? Is it on now?
It's Friday night.
Friday night. Good.
Monster ratings.
Merry Christmas. Good to see you.
Thank you for having
Fred Willard, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Okay, Fred Willard, Roddy Frame, Isabella Rossellini, please try to get some sleep. Good night, everybody. What do you think, Paul? The wallflowers. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Sounded great.
All right, weren't they great, the wallflowers?
Yeah.
Rami here.
Hi,
leaving
nice
the
to see you.
stage.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I'm despondent about this Ellen Barkin development.
I don't blame you.
She's hanging around the show for 2 weeks, and I don't know it.
Don't know it. Yeah.
I can't talk now. I got to rehearse stupid pet tricks.
Yeah. That was you.
And then 5 years later, I find out, bing, I could have been on Neptune.
Man.
Our next guest is an actor and comedian who can be seen on both the Jackie Thomas Show and also the Nick at Night reruns of the popular Fernwood Tonight. I'm telling you, you get a chance to watch that Fernwood Tonight, it's still just as funny as it was like 15 years ago when they originally aired. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Fred Willard. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me on. You know, this is my 100th appearance on the show, and Ellen Barkin brought a cake, and she was going to jump out of it, but they said no. Yeah. But it's
welcome back to New York.
Well, thank you. It's been 15 months since I was on your show. I might as well keep a hotel room here. And it's the thing, you've put me up in a wonderful hotel. The motto is no visitors after 10 p.m. But when you're not used to living in New York, I haven't lived here for about 10 years.
Yeah.
You don't know how to handle the New York scene. You live in a suburb in LA.
It's a little different, sure.
I was passing 6th Avenue, walking to the show, and there's that hotel where the prostitutes hang out. I can't mention the name, but if the people are interested, they can call the switchboard and find out the exact address. But they say things to me.
If the people are interested.
Well, some of the viewers, don't tell me none of your viewers would be interested in...
I think let them get their own hookers. I don't know.
Well, your show's not going to get them hookers. Just tell them where they are. No, it's a do-it-yourself thing. But they say to you, hey, would you like to have a good time? And I never know how to answer that. You feel silly. You say, no. But one followed me to 6th Avenue. Come on, honey, don't you want to have a good time? So I finally, without thinking, said, I am not here to have a good time. I'm here to be on the David Letterman show. And then they say, hey, that sounds, I'd like to get on. It'd be good publicity. Anyway, to make a long story short, their business manager is going to call you.
Oh, good.
And I'm from Cleveland. I've been traveling a lot.
You are from Cleveland,
Ohio, yeah. Well, I was just back this summer to visit. I have a cousin who is a doctor. He got in a bit of a problem. He was becoming romantically and sexually involved with his patients.
You shouldn't know.
No, almost lost his license, and it worked out okay. And it's a shame because he's one of the finest veterinarians in the Ohio area. But the point is...
where can people call if they want to talk about that?
People, say, you fly a lot. You probably get this. You take your life into your own hands when you fly. But we have to fly. You have to look at death philosophically. Death to me is like a Bob Hope special. You know it's coming. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. 3 jokes. And I'm getting them out fast because we don't have much time, so that's it. No more jokes. Let's get down to business.
Right. Tell me about the Jackie Thomas Show. I didn't realize you were on that program.
I'm kind of a semi-regular, you might say. I'm on with Martin Mull, my own friend.
He's great. You guys are terrific. What the hell is that?
What?
Did you hear something?
Sorry. Hello? Yeah. No, I know I'm on the show. I'm doing it now. I'll get back to you.
You're on Letterman tonight.
What was that?
A friend, I asked him to put a hold on my calls. Anyway, but this is pilot season because you want your own series. But, you know, the pilots this year are very interesting. You don't worry about this.
No, I have a job. I'm lucky to have work, sure.
When you go to CBS, do you lose a year's eligibility to play varsity sports? So you have to redshirt for a year now.
Redshirted for a year, that's right. I won't graduate with my class.
But the pilots this year, and they send them around to me, you know, they're influenced by whatever wins the Oscar, big movies, like Westerns are in. And Al Pacino from Son of a Woman, he was blind. Yeah. And I was sent a very interesting script, a blind sportscaster, where they bring him into the booth, and they have a sidekick. Right. Is it a nice day? Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful day out here. And the crack of the bat, where's the ball hit? To the outfield. Is it caught? Come on, quick. Is it caught? It's a catch. Yes, a beautiful catch. And they were talking about having like Sybil Shepherd as a
she'd be good.
Great. Well, get kind of that moonlighting conflict. Yeah. And where you'd go to a different town, and sorry, sir, there's only one room left in the hotel. You'll have to share. But then they decided, no, we don't want a Sybil Shepherd. They're going to go with a Danny DeVito type, so I lost interest. That'll be the fun. Two guys in one bed struggling over a blanket.
No, that's not fun, no.
And then anti-violence. Now, they send me a wonderful script. I would be Captain Reasonable.
Captain Reasonable.
Yeah. It's set in L.A. I go into the inner city when there's a problem. Say,
reason prevails.
Can't we work this out? One world, one people.
Like that.
And the villains would say, hey, he ain't talking trash. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's going to... And then there is since the Crying Game, I should mention, but transvestitism, transsexualism, I was talking to two actors at the hotel. Mm-hmm. Did I mention radio in every room? It's one of these guys, they were men. Now follow this. They had a sex change operation. They became women. I knew one of the guys from years ago. They couldn't buy a job. They are now women, and they've got signed for a series, like transsexual cops or something. So I was talking to them in the lobby, and they were very happy. And then I said, tell me, do you guys have large parts or small parts?
Talking about the show.
And they looked at each other and started to cry.
Oh, no.
And their agent said, don't worry about it. It's buyer's remorse. They'll get over it.
Well, we'll give you a chance here to return some of your calls.
I gotta catch my breath.
We'll be right back. Okay, folks, we're all out of time. Fred.
I'm going to promote you. It's my agent.
Oh, that's good.
He says hello, too.
All right. Yeah. My thanks to Fred Willard, the Wallflowers, and Ellen Barkin, ladies and gentlemen.
It's scale.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
No permission.
Our next guest is a very funny man, very talented man, and he's starring in a new play entitled Elvis and Juliet. It runs through July 2nd at the Abingdon Theater Company. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Fred Willard. Fred.
Thank you. No wonder Elvis was such a star with music like that behind him. Boy, it's great to be here. It's just wonderful. And the weather is wonderful here. It's been cool enough so that the subway flashers can wear a nice raincoat and not attract attention, yet warm enough that they can occasionally run naked through Central Park. It's okay to be silly on this show.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I just feel like being silly.
Now, you actually, I think, appeared on the original The Ed Sullivan Show, originally done in this theater.
That was amazing.
What was the act?
Vic Greco and Fred Willard, we did sketches, and I love stories about Ed Sullivan. Yeah. I only do one or two impressions. They always end up as Ed Sullivan, which delineate into Richard Nixon. But he was the master of inappropriate introductions.
Right.
You know, I actually saw him once say, in our audience, former heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey. And Jack Dempsey stood up and also in our audience, the commander of the U.S. Navy in the Middle East, Jack Dempsey. And you looked out and Jack Dempsey kind of got up like this.
I'm sorry, Admiral Nimitz. But we were on once with the Look All-American football team. And they were introducing the football quarterback from Ohio State, John Connery. Left end from Syracuse, here's Marco Quinn. Just then the producer came up to us. Now, we did sketches. And he said, fellas, could you cut 1 minute out of your act? So what do you do? So we said, well, we'll just talk faster. And here, the fullback from Notre Dame, Biff Nowitzki. And now here's Vic Greco and Fred Willard. And we walked out, and for 2 or 3 minutes, people thought, what school are they from? Luckily, we recovered, you know, and ended up. But he was...
Did Ed come to rehearsal to see you guys perform in rehearsal?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
We were on in the later years, and I don't know if he had a problem or what. We had an introduction.
We've all had problems in the later years.
But we can still be silly.
Yes,
That's the wonderful. Just let our hair down. We had an introduction, and the producer took us over to, he said, show your introduction to Mr. Sullivan. So our introduction was, I would say, hi, I'm Vic Greco, and this is my partner, Fred Willard. And then he would whisper in my ear, and I'd say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Fred Willard, and this is Vic Greco. So we showed it to Ed Sullivan, and he was looking, his eyes were kind of glassy. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Fred Willard, and this is Vic Greco. And he says, oh, that's okay, go continue. He thought we, you know.
Oh, well.
So, and once Stiller and Mira were on, this is Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira, they showed him a sketch. I guess he was great for standing off to the side. Let me see what you're going to do. And they did a sketch about an astronaut, the cleaning lady of the capsule. And when they got done with the sketch, he said, that's the most disgusting scene I've ever seen, and walked away. And Jerry Stiller said, but does he want us to do it or not? And I don't know whether they did it.
Yeah, that's great. And that show, of course, everybody, I guess, still knows that for 20 years it was a mainstay in American life every Sunday.
At the time, it was Ed Sullivan and Johnny Carson.
Right,
that's
right.
where you broke through. Right. Today, there's everything. You know, MTV, there's a Comedy Channel.
And you have, of course, why wouldn't you be in some very, very funny movies that your friends, Christopher Guest
God
and
bless
Eugene
Christopher
Levy
Guest,
and
I say it.
on
Yes.
and on. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like Best in Show.
Yes.
Mighty Wind.
Yes.
And I understand you're working on a similar project now, same group with Ricky Gervais? Or?
Yes, he's kind of expanded Ricky Gervais.
Isn't he tremendous, Ricky?
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah. And I met him at the Emmy Awards. And the wonderful thing about being in Christopher Guest's movies, they don't make $100 million. But the people that you like to see it, like you, of course. But Ricky Gervais came over to me and said, hi, Fred, I'm Ricky Gervais. I'm going to be in this movie with you. I said, Ricky, congratulations. You were nominated. He said, I didn't win. I said, but the important thing is you're nominated, and we're here at the party. He says, no, I really wanted to win. So I felt bad. He flew in from London. Same with James Lipton, you know. Ran into in the actor's studio. I ran into him 3 times. I was nominated 3 years in a row, and every time my wife told me, I laughed. Because I didn't think I really deserved. But it makes up for it's like hitting a pop fly that drops in. Yeah. Makes up for those line drives that they snag, you know. So I was there at the party waving, and you didn't know whether to prepare a speech. You were sitting there, my gosh, what if you actually win? What do I say? But luckily I never won, so I never had to get in.
And can you tell us, give us an idea of the film that you and Christopher Guest and everybody and Ricky Gervais are working on?
The newest one is called For Your Consideration. There's a movie being made. In the movie, 3 of the actors hear rumors they might be up for Academy Awards, and that changes everyone's metabolism, you see. And I play the host of one of these entertainment magazine shows, and Christopher said to me, he says, he gave me one to watch. He said, you won't last 10 minutes watching it. But because what fascinates me, the hosts, these are not young guys. They're in the 20s, 30s, 40s. They throw themselves entirely into it. Yeah. You know, Brad and Angelina will be on top of that story. And what's the latest with Britney Spears? So what they did, I had an idea for this host. I saw David Bowie wearing his hair very beautiful red back in the 70s on a Dick Cavett show. I wanted to have a wig like that. He said, no, what we're going to do, we're going to cut your hair in a faux hawk. Now, that's one step short of a mohawk. Oh. They cut my hair so short and
stuck it up in the middle, dyed it blonde. I went home, my wife says, we can't go out for 6 months. It looked great on the film, but it's and I play the fool again.
But it seems like a tremendous topic for you and your friends to be working with.
Oh, it is. It's wonderful to work with them. And, you know, in improvising, they teach you, they say, don't go for jokes. Just listen to your partner, which I try to do, but occasionally, like Jane Lynch plays my partner, the co-host, and she says, you know, we have a story coming up on blind prostitutes coming up next. And I said, you know what they say about blind prostitutes? You really have to hand it to them. And, no.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, Paul, I just looked at Paul and he was going like that.
Well,
is that the rudest thing you've ever...
Fred, for
a
God's
mature
sake.
musician, isn't it?
Gee.
I'm sorry. You can edit that out. I'm sorry.
Now, Fred...
Your wife is here.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know we were taping now. I thought this was a rehearsal.
Ed Sullivan is backstage. Be careful.
Oh, yes.
Now, Elvis and Juliet, is this what it sounds like? Romeo and Juliet, Elvis and Juliet?
Kind of a combination.
What do you have
it's
here?
my cup of tea because I play an Elvis Presley impersonator, and I want my son to join me in the act as the younger Elvis, but he's just gone to Yale, graduated, he wants to get married, and go to work in Washington for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So my wife was a former exotic dancer. We have to fly back to New Haven and meet the bride's parents, who are Yale professors. Thus, the you know what happens there. They do jokes in Latin, and we do double negatives. I ain't never seen nothing, a triple negative there. But I see what you're about to show up. I get to wear an authentic Elvis jumpsuit. This was made by...
You look great, Fred.
You know, there's thousands of Elvis impersonators, and there's a whole hierarchy. In fact, the newer, younger Elvis impersonators also actually do impressions of the older impersonators.
Oh, is that right?
I'm being silly again. Did I mention running naked through Central Park?
Did.
Well, you know, are you about to cut away?
I just want to mention that if folks, I don't know if there are tickets, but the show continues now through July 2nd, so they don't have much more time to go see it.
About one more week, and it's a limited run. The Abingdon Theater, they do original shows by American playwrights, and if you and Paul ever wanted to put a little skit show together and come down, they'd open their arms and welcome. No, you don't.
I don't think so. But now, speaking of playwrights, am I correct that your wife actually wrote this?
Yes, she did. Yeah, and I wasn't her first choice for the part.
There you go.
Someone dropped out at the last minute. She said, "What am I going to do?" And her friend said, "Well, what about Fred?" She's, "Fred who?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to hand it to her.
Yeah, got it.
Hey, what is going on here?
I don't know. Musicians.
Elvis and Juliet at the Abingdon Theater Company through July 2nd. Great to see you again, Fred.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. A real pleasure to have you. Fred Willard, we'll be right back with Martha Wainwright. Thank you very much, Paul. Our next guest is a funny and talented man starring in a new comedy series entitled Back to You. It premieres September 19th at 8 p.m. Here's Fred Willard. Oh, Fred, come on out. Good to see you again, Fred. Thank you very much.
I knew Mark Twain was a humorist. I didn't realize he was that acerbic a wit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Amazing.
Read some of the early stuff. You'll be amazed. You know, I was thinking about you today, and I remember watching you for years and years and always thought, this guy is very funny, and everything he's in is very funny. And you've been in many, many wonderful projects.
Yes.
Of course, this is Spinal Tap.
Yes,
you were in that, along with our friend Paul Schaefer.
Yes,
And I think my earliest recollection of you being on television, and maybe you were even here in this theater, was it the Ace Trucking Company?
Yes, actually, our first visit, had a partner before that. Team was called Greco and Willard. And, you know, Ed Sullivan had kind of a way of introducing, there were not many transitions when he would introduce people. Right. And we were on, I think the first time they had the All-American football team.
Oh, sure, the Kodak All-American.
Yeah, so left end Whiskey of Notre Dame, from quarterback Hughes from Ohio State, from fullback Jankowski from Eastern Carolina, and here's Greco and Willard. And the audience was kind of puzzled because we came out, they thought, are these two football players? And our sketch was about, I was supposed to be a professional baseball player who had established a record for most games in which I had not appeared. So we got into kind of a tussle about me and the MC. And so people thought, well, this is two football players having a fight, maybe an inter-league rivalry. And so there was silence for several minutes. And then finally the audience caught on, and they were laughing. And at the end, we got a nice hand. And Ed Sullivan, in his inimitable way, big applause. He comes out, all right, hold it down, hold it down, hold it down. And everyone quiet down and says, now let's hear it again.
For heaven's sakes, we're not here to have fun.
No, wonderful. He was a wonderful character.
Now,
wonderful character.
I heard about this gig you had this summer, and apparently you've done it 2 years in a row. It's some big, huge stadium show in Utah.
It's called the Stadium of Fire. It's
Never heard
Provo.
of it.
Really, it's a very patriotic thing. It's a Brigham Young University stadium, beautiful stadium. There's the mountains in the background. You know, it's God Bless America, the choir. They have a jet flyover. Right. Brooks and Dunn were playing there. One of the young performers from High School Musical, which always confuses me. I didn't know it was a Broadway musical or a movie. Yeah. It's a TV show.
That's right, a big
immensely
hit.
Popular with the kids. His name was Corbin Blue, and unfortunately I kept calling him Cordon Bleu.
I don't think that's...
And his manager would come up and say, Fred is calling him Corbin. But he's a wonderfully talented kid, and I was with a microphone. I'd have to be out there to introduce. And there's that feedback. Yeah. And if you ever saw, you know, Lou Gehrig when he was giving his speech today, every once in a while he'd go like that. It was from the feedback of the proudest man. Oh, can we turn it down? But the point is, you didn't notice that Lou Gehrig going like that.
I didn't realize that Lou Gehrig had asked them to turn the PA down.
Please.
I'll have to go look at that archival footage.
I've got enough problems here, please. Then you hear, please. Problems.
Well, it's interesting.
And at the end, he just walked off like that. That they cut out. No.
Yeah, that's wise, sure.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the high point was, and it was scary, there was a guy who put jetpacks on himself. And he was one of only 7 men who have ever done it. You see the old 1950s science fiction film. He lifted himself up and flew all the way around the stadium and landed. And just before they did that, they said, we don't know whether he's going to be able to do that because of the weather conditions. Then I said, well, gee, that's going to leave a big hole in the show.
Sure.
And then I thought, if he gets up there and goes around and doesn't hit where he's supposed to, that's going to leave even a bigger hole.
Right.
And I was going to have a line like, well, at least you have a good seat position for the opener of the BYU football season. And
you had that ready to go.
Yeah. Just,
well,
you have to be ready.
You got to be on your...
I mean, if God forbid, and I said something lame like, while you're up there, could you see I-15? Is the traffic very heavy? But, you know, if he crashes, you know, what do you say? All right, everyone stand back. He'll be all right. Give him air. Like that was his problem. He had too much air. He was 150
That's
feet
right.
in the air.
Yeah, well, but he landed and everything was fine.
Everything was fine, yeah. It's you know, it was so patriotic that if you'd been there, you would have gone up and enlisted. In the armed forces. It really was. I'm not kidding.
Give you a good feeling.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You'd be like Jimmy Cagney. What do you mean I'm too old for this man's service? Well, I'll dance up that wall. No, but it really is. That's that Midwest boy. It's red, white, and blue. And
I think the last time you were here, you mentioned something about it. Was it a blind prostitute?
Oh, yeah.
Do I have that right?
Blind prostitutes. Right. You really have to hand it to them.
That's
yes,
right.
that's
now, listen.
That's what I thought.
Now, Fred...
Yeah.
When you come to New York City, what do you like to do?
And then when they say, is that it? Then you're really in bad shape. Now, anyway, I interrupted you.
That's
we
fine.
can cut all this out. Let me ask you a philosophical question. If a joke does not get a laugh, is it still funny? That's something to mull over. I think it can be. But anyway, you were about to ask me something.
Somebody told me this was a roast. What I was going to ask you was, when you come to New York City, what do you do for fun?
I love the theater.
Yeah.
For one thing, I bring my wife because she's very supportive. You know, because usually I get several responses when I do this, after I do this show. Some friends will call and say, boy, you only got a couple of minutes on that show. You really cut you short, huh? And others will say, what night were you on? I did. But my wife is there. Her job is to say, when I come off, say, you were terrific. You were terrific. Even if I wasn't, you know, you were terrific. Now, later at night, she'll say, Fred, you were wonderful, but let me tell you something. Next time you go on a show, when you come out, I know this joke is not, oh, I didn't even do that joke, did I? No.
Give it a try.
Well, the joke, no, it's not a joke. I was told that I'm playing a sports announcer on this new series.
Show, sure.
So they told me to make sure not to sit like this when I come out and talk.
Why is that?
Oh, maybe it's normal. I don't know. Maybe it's more like this. Is that okay?
That's it. But
so, what are the Mets going to do this year? That's the whole point. And she'll say that is not. I know you think it's funny, but it's really not.
Yeah, not funny. Your wife is from the Boston area?
Boston area, Big Red. That's partly why I'm such a big fan. I'm so proud of her. She had sex with so many Red Sox during their big pennant-winning years. And it's wonderful. I still talk to her. What, Carl Yastrzemski, what was he like? And I just wish if she'd been around when Ted Williams was playing,
boy,
you know?
the stories.
But she says, you'll have to ask my mom about that.
God.
Oh, but that's the thing. But, yeah, she's from Boston.
Go too far? I thought this was a roast. Somebody told me this was a roast. Now, Fred, congratulations on the new series. It's called Back to You. Now, this is a big one. This is Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, good heavens. And Patty Heaton.
Patty Heaton, sure.
America's Sweetheart.
That's right.
We have some wonderful actors, Ty Burrell and Josh Gad and Ida Field. And it's so much fun. The writing is so rich.
Yes,
and
witty.
Yeah,
fun. Must be a lot of fun.
Rich.
September.
Mark Twain was witty. This is rich.
September 19th at 8 p.m. Back to you. Fred Willard, always a pleasure,
Oh, thank you so much, David.
You were great. Thanks so much. We'll be right back with MIA.